I'm having a mare with my light. Good, yeah. I'm having it just as it went live. My light went, so I don't know whether it's gone forever or whether or not I just need to fiddle about with the plug. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It feels dark without that. I hope everyone is well. For a special edition of the What Are We Doing Here podcast. We're here to find out today who's got the worst takes out of Eugene and Perchy. Two people who I think have both got terrible football opinions. So let's see who's got the worst. We've got 6 subjects to go through. But before we go through them, Eugene, welcome to the What Are We Doing Here podcast. How are you, sir? How is the United States of America?
I'm good, man. Good to be on. Always good to talk to you guys. Perch and I have been going back and forth for decades. But
oh yeah, 100%.
FYI for the chat, I might have been set up. So just if anything, if I look really bad here,
it's so crazy.
If I look really bad on the stream, it's not my fault.
Just stinker and hooked early doors. You love to see it.
But I'm not gonna rage quit, I promise.
No rage quitting.
No rage quitting tonight, please. No rage quitting tonight.
So, you having a mare down there?
Yeah. Yeah, my light is... What I will say, Eugene, if Perchy's debating skills are anywhere as shocking as his football manager skills, then, I mean, just this is having a mare. Just for context, anybody at home, just for context, first of all, what is going on with the light? I don't know if I've got a ghost here or something. I don't know what's going on. First of all, Perchy and I have started, just to kill some time in between streams and stuff, an online football manager game where we picked 2 random teams. He's Bournemouth, I'm Palace, and it's from last season or whenever it's from. Last season, right? It's from last season. And we're 3 games into the season, and we're both in the bottom 3. But Perchy is rock bottom with a goal difference of about -7 or 8. And in my defense, my board gave me no money. I wasn't able to buy a single player. But Perchy is rock bottom, and Eugene and I just watched him lose 4-0 to Ipswich.
I had a bit of a mare. I had a stinker. Look, I might be getting. I'm going full Ange mode at the moment, just getting sacked early doors. Right.
That's embarrassing, Perchy. I just won a quad with Sunderland, so that's my my managing skills.
As everyone says, right? You win a trophy. I won the Europa League, so I must be a great manager.
The quad.
Sorry, are we still living off of Perchy to Glory from about 9 years ago?
So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that series, man. I had a great time watching it. There's about 2. There's about.
Did you watch it, Eugene?
No.
What was brilliant about Perchy to Glory was he had this kind of really weird trancey soundtrack that went on for about 9 hours in the background, and he'd stand up, and you know the way you just saw him getting frustrated there when his team was losing 4-0. He gets so emotional over a computer game. It's unbelievable. Guys, I hope everybody's well. Listen, we just got 6 topics. Listen, we try to keep you entertained during the international break. It is very, very difficult. We all hate I hate the international break. I find it long, drawn out. It's boring. But we're here. We're going to try and give you some content. And I've heard that these 2 go back and forth on WhatsApp groups. So Perchy said, let's invite Eugene. I said, yeah, I'd love to have Eugene. And then I said, right, you 2 discuss some topics that you want to talk about and tell me. I get sent through the topics. And then just as we're about to go live, I find out that Eugene didn't actually know what the topics was.
No, that's the funny thing. So I talk football. Perchy is full of like non sequiturs ad hominems. So I messaged him last night. I'm like, hey, Perchy, should I do some research on Bolivian 2nd division? And he's like, no, it's going to be all like, we're going to talk Spurs. It's going to be all like Leeds game. We're going to analyze I'm like, cool, serious football. And now I find out it's going to be same old, but it's all good. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Perchy out. By the way, that's what Eugene and I just heard the Bournemouth fans singing as he was 4-0 down to relegation favourite Ipswich. He was. By the way, he was 4-0 down at half time to Ipswich.
Oh, don't! I had an absolute stink. I didn't lose the second half though. Didn't lose the second half. I'll take that one.
In my defence, you're 20th. I'm 18th. In my defence, I've had to play Arsenal and City away in my first 3 games, and my next game is Liverpool away. So I'm getting all the tough ones out the way. You're dropping biblical football manager stinkers.
Listen, it's fine.
And by the way, there are no questions. There are no subjects tonight based on the Bolivian second division. I can assure you of that. Hope everyone is well in the chat. Listen, I know it's tough for the International Week. Please just smash the like button. We'll try and have as much of a laugh as we can. And that's, let's be fair. I know we do have some streams that get a bit heated like last night, but most of the time it is just fun and it is just football. Let's just stop and say big up to my man, Blaine Dev. How you doing?
My
Come
God.
on, Perchy. Put Eugene in his place about Bolivian second division.
That's crazy. I did not even see the super chat, but Blaine and I would think alike.
Oh,
Blaine, my guy, Blaine.
Hang on 1 second. My wife is calling me. Can you bear with me 1 second? Talk amongst yourselves.
Sure.
Right.
We could do, but look, it's all a bit of fun, right? This is just a bit of a laugh. Look, guy, everyone said put chat in the chat. You will get blocked, by the way. This Savva may not be here. It's a dictatorship now. None of that. We don't do any of that. Angus, you can stop. You can give right over, mate. You've got worse opinions than this man. Let's not have that, Angus. I've heard about your footballing opinions, my man. Let's not try that. Who else is in it? Who else is giving it? Get the video out. Don't, Connor, you kill me. Don't, just send a random video. We're here for it. Big up. Who else? Wait, whilst we'll do it. I'll do Savva's super chats here. Big up Ray for becoming a YouTube member, my man. Big up to you, and big up to Dean Law. Always with a super sticker. Big up to you. Oh, Elijah, mate. I'm not even gonna start with you. Like I'm full getting like machine gun ready. I'm splaying everyone. Managerial criticism is spot, mate. The fact you didn't put me on your tier list, mate. Stinker and hooked for you. Stinker and hooked. Big up, man. I've never said, oh man, come on, man. Andy Lester, man. What's up? Eugene. Let's have a talk whilst these lot are absolutely.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Should we just start with it? I don't even know. I don't know where Savva's put them because I don't know if he put them in the. What I'm going to start with, or should we wait for Savva? Do we wait for Savva and should we just have a laugh with people?
No, let's do it. Let's do it. I think the first topic was the Farmers League. What constitutes a Farmers League? Unless you want to save the best for last.
No. I think we start on the Farmers League comment because I think it's an absolute disgrace. Screw it. We're starting. Savva out. Perchy takeover. What constitutes a Farmers League was the first point. And screw it, we're starting here without... he's back now. Look at the views just dropped when he turned back up. Just saying. I think it's a disgrace because Eugene had the audacity to call the Portuguese league a Farmers League. Eugene, I'm going to start... I'll let you go first. Why is it? Because I'm about to absolutely school you, my man.
Do you know every single Portuguese team in that division, Perchy? I had to. I know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say 6. I just know 3, maybe 4 teams. So look.
But what is that? That doesn't make it a Farmers League, though.
So let me go, and then.
You
can debunk. So look, I'm not talking about the level of entertainment. I'm not saying that some players who play in Portugal are top players. The point is, when we refer. And I say we, it's me and people who actually know football. When we refer to Portugal or Netherlands as Farmers Leagues, it's the level of competition. If you look at probably, every team bar Benfica, Porto, right, and Sporting, the level of competition is not great. So you can watch it and you can say, yep, it's a fun league. They play good football. However, when a player comes from Portugal to the Prem, the level of competition is so much higher in the Prem, you cannot automatically say, oh, Gyökeres, for example, this guy's gonna, score 30 goals or whatever, right? Or any player.
Right.
Also, there's a difference if you're 18 years old from Portugal, if you come to the academy, right? Or if you start slow and you get experience in the Prem, no issues with that. However, if you're 25, 26, 27-year-old player and you do well in Portugal, when you move to the Prem, the level of competition is so much higher. You cannot expect the same numbers, the same stats as in Portugal. Just as an example,
Right.
look at the West Ham squad, right? West Ham is a shocking squad. If you look at their defense, Max Kilman, Tadibo, those players are average in the Prem.
Tadibo,
They might be okay.
Tadibo's an average defender.
No, I'm saying they're okay. In Portugal or Netherlands, there would be top defenders given the level of competition.
Right.
So when I say the Farmers League, obviously, it's not like semi-pro. However, the level of competition is not very, very good. And I think that's a reasonable take. I'm not saying everybody's crap. I'm saying is on day or on week-to-week basis, Gyökeres playing against some teams nobody has ever heard of and scoring goals because he could bully defenders. He's bigger,
Right.
he's faster, he's stronger. In the Prem, every defender, even on bottom teams, every defender was a top defender in his league back at home. As
Like
Savva
who?
was saying, 75% of players are foreign players. Every one of those players either plays for his national team or was a top player in Argentina, Brazil, whatever, Germany, right? And now they're playing on mid-table teams or bottom teams. So scoring against whatever, I don't even know the name of that team, is not the same as playing against, Palace or even Leeds or West Ham or Sunderland. That's my point.
Okay, fair enough. So the point on Farmers League, when I hear this notion, so we're saying that basically leagues less quality than the Premier League. That isn't that just such a blanket statement that's a bit stupid. I don't think any league should be constituted a Farmers League in the sense that because we're at a position, what right do we have to belittle other football leagues? Bear in mind, the Portuguese league has produced tons of Champions League winners in its past. Let's not Benfica have won it, Porto have won it. So isn't that just become just disrespectful from people being at the top? Now, look, by the way, I'm not suggesting that the Premier League is a better football league. I don't think anyone's doubting that in the quality of team. But I hear this about the Spanish. It's not just about Portugal, but I hear about Brazil. I hear about Germany. I hear it about Spain. I hear it about Italy. I just find it really, really disrespectful. And I think that's the key bit for me. It's more it's more disrespect than it is about anything else.
So
yeah, go on. I'll let you
go. If you have an issue with me using the word Farmers League, fine. I can change it to Plumbers, whichever.
Nah, because I ain't
whichever
having
trade
you
respect,
invited.
I can change that.
James Flower is
term.
not invited.
No, but the point is when you mentioned Jose's teams that won the Champions League, that was before the Prem was the Prem, right? When people say, "Oh, look,
that's not true."
Italy," in the 80s, when Milan and Inter were winning Champions Leagues, all the best talent was in Italy. When Jose was doing well in Portugal, the Prem wasn't the Prem. Now all the best players are playing in Spain for Madrid or Barca or playing in the Prem. So whatever happened 20 years ago, it doesn't apply anymore. It's a different world.
Why?
So yes, I might have been disrespectful calling it a Farmers League, but again, looking top to bottom, the money that the league has, the quality of the players, every good player or most good players, after 2 good years, they leave for the Prem, for Germany or Spain. So again, the level of competition.
That's not true, though, is it? Though Spain and Germany pick up top players all the time.
No, but that's what I said. I'm talking about Portugal, right? All the best players from Portugal And again, with Italy and Spain, it's all about the money, right? Right now, Prem has all the money, and in Spain, Barca and Madrid have all the money. So if you look where all the players are going, and look at Italy, Juve picks up most of their players on the free, right? Italy has no money, and
But money isn't. But money shouldn't constitute what is or isn't what, as you say, a farmers' league.
it
Money
should
doesn't
not.
make, but it
But
doesn't. I
good
watch
players
Spanish
cost
football a
money.
lot. There's quality all up and down the league.
When you say quality, what do you mean by quality?
I see quality football players up and down in the league, from top teams to bottom teams. Teams that are absolute quality football players up and down the league.
I do not disagree. Again, I'm not saying every player in Portugal is crap or every player in Netherlands is crap. My whole point is the level of competition on week-to-week basis is much weaker, given that all the best players, they leave where the money is. So when somebody comes from a different league, even a top league like Germany or even Spain, when we talk about this guy's a top player, yes, he was like Wirtz or Gyökeres or anybody else. Yes, top player in that league, given the level of competition. Coming to the Prem that has the best players in the world, or not the best, most of the best players in the world outside of Barca and Madrid. We
Can I just
cannot
make a quick point and then I'll drop out and leave you two to it?
Yeah.
I just want to say, where I find this whole argument funny is the Premier League is literally like 70% foreign, which means that all of the Premier League players have come from these leagues that we're calling farmer leagues. So these leagues, are they farmer leagues, or what's happening is they're actually producing all the footballers that the Premier League can't? I'll duck out now.
That makes my point, right? 70% of the players, of foreign players, are in the Prem. However, most of them, they play for mid-table teams or bottom teams, right? Just that's the way it is. They're only one City, one Liverpool, right? So most of these players play for lesser teams. It doesn't make them bad. They used to be the best players in their own leagues, and now they're playing on mid-table teams. So the point is,
give me examples. Hang on, wait. Give me examples of that, where you say players that were the best teams in Portugal, for example, but are playing for lesser teams in the Premier League. Give me an example.
No, but it's a numbers game, right? If we say 70% of the players in the Prem are foreign players, Prem has all the money. So if you look at teams like, for Sunderland, every team has money. Every team spends money.
Yeah.
Right?
No one's disagreed with that, though.
Right. So but I'm saying if 70% of the players are foreign, then most of them, just do the math, they don't play for City or Liverpool or Chelsea, right? Most of them play for
majority
or lesser teams.
The majority do play for Man City, all the top teams.
Yeah.
How many English teams are playing in the top four? Let's just call the top six. Look how many English players are playing in the top six. Not many.
Right. No,
you count them on your hand, right?
So let's say out of the 70%, I don't know, I'm not good at math. 10% of those players play for top four teams. The other 60% play for other teams. That's just a numbers game, right? Now, they're good enough to be playing for mid-table teams in the Prem. However, in their own countries, they're either on the national team or they would be top players in their own leagues, which shows you the level of competition in the Prem.
Yeah, but give me an example of that. Give me 3 examples. Just pick random players. I don't think they're playing at the top teams in their leagues. Look at who. Think of some examples that were playing at the top level that are playing for a mid-table, or pick out Sunderland, for example. Who did Sunderland go out and buy in this window where they went and bought the top player in Portugal, France, anywhere? They didn't. They were picking up Granit Xhaka's. Yeah, I think that's a good, sensible purchase. Granit Xhaka wasn't the best player in Germany when he was playing there.
He was the best player in Germany, to be honest.
Yeah, sure, but he wasn't. You wouldn't sit there and go, "Oh my God, he was the greatest." I thought that was a sensible purchase they got. They didn't spend a lot of money, by the way, on him because they were able to get a hold of him. They bought a lot of players that you wouldn't sit there and go, "Oh my God, you're amazing. You're an amazing top player." They bought Isidore the year before. Do you even know where they bought him from? Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's as black and white as you're making it out. You're creating the narrative that, oh well, a team, for example, that is a player like this at Portugal. Let's use let's just use Pedro Goncalves. I'll use him as an example here. Where does he play in the Premier League? He plays at one of the best teams in the Premier League because he's a top player. He's a top player.
I don't think he's a top player. I don't know if he makes a top 4 team.
Who? Pedro
I don't know.
Goncalves. Have you watched him play?
He's a really good. He's a top player, but again, right? You need to take performances with a grain of salt. He's a top player. I agree. Does he make Man City, Liverpool? I'm not sure. I doubt it. He definitely makes our team because we're crap. But
no, I don't think we're crap. I don't think
we're not crap. But I mean,
by the way, I would have Pedro Goncalves at Spurs, but my point is, I don't think it's a be all and end all. We come to Tottenham, but I think you could look at teams in the top half and go, yeah, they would do with someone like him. By the way, I'm not saying we wouldn't, but I just think this real narrative of...
Couldn't you have said this about Rayan Cherki last year? Would he go to Man City? Couldn't you have said this about Tajani Reinders? Couldn't we have said this about Ait Nouri?
So many examples, right?
Aren't we conflating? Just to listen, I think it's I love the discussion. I think it's always been a very interesting one, other leagues, right? Because, you know, I hear a lot, if you use the French league, by example, people go, oh my God, the French league is crap. And you're like, well, hang on. If you actually look how many players every summer are signed from Rennes or Lens or Saint Etienne, or I could just keep naming French clubs, right? This is what they do. They produce the footballers that they then go to the clubs, and then and then that makes the Premier League stronger. So for me, I think the real question here isn't this purely about the reason those players don't stay in those countries is because of the money. It's not to do with their farmer leagues and the Premier League is this amazing league. Because if the Premier League was this amazing league, surely then you'd win the Champions League winners and the Europa League winners every year would come from the Premier League. If our league was levels above every other league, wouldn't that be the case?
But who wins the Champions League? It's either Madrid every year, right? It's the PSG, Madrid, Barca, Juve, right? And the Prem teams. Those leagues are really top heavy. France is a one-team league, right? Pretty much.
Not.
It's PSG. I mean,
PSG probably have a bulk share of it, but let's not forget about teams like Marseille.
I'm not saying
that do very well in France.
I'm not saying they're crap teams. I'm saying to Savva's point about Champions Leagues, right? It's Bayern in Germany. They lose once every 7 years.
Champions Leagues in France, by the way.
Right,
PSG haven't won the most Champions Leagues in France. I think Marseille have won it more, right?
Yeah, but last decade, I mean, it's PSG, right? It's Bayern.
I mean, they only just won it, by the way. This is the first time they've ever won it. Let's just remember that.
I understand, but
again, devil's advocate. I get your point. I completely agree with you. But couldn't we say that hasn't like 7 of the last 8 Premier League titles been Man City or something? Like, you know, if we look, Bayern tend to win most of the German leagues, right? But they didn't that year that Leverkusen won it, right?
Yes.
City for the last 7 or 8 years have been dominant, other than the year Liverpool. I think Liverpool have won 2 and City have won 6. I don't know. I might be making that up, but something like that. In Italy, is Italy a farmers league? Like, Italy has different winners every year, doesn't it? Napoli and then Inter and AC and Juve, and they all sort of take a turn in winning it. Even in Holland now, if you look in Holland, it used to be just Ajax. It's not that anymore, is it? Ajax have, Feyenoord have, who's the third team?
PSV.
PSV have. I find it interesting. I just find it interesting. And I'll tell you, do you know when this first really bugged me? I remember when Kane was going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And everyone in Watch was going, he's gone to a farmers league. He's guaranteed a title. And then the first year that Harry Kane is there,
They don't win anything.
They don't win anything was pretty funny. But hey, I
Kane's numbers. Kane scored 100 goals in 104 games in the Prem. I mean, he.
But you can't conflate that argument though. I think that's a really slightly disingenuous argument, because you've got to account for the games where Kane was growing in the Premier League. Kane didn't start immediately playing in the Premier League and scoring 30 goals a season. He built to that, right? So I think it's slightly. But he's now
best tally in the Prem. Was it like 30 goals? What's Kane's best tally?
30 or whatever. Savva
he would never do 40.
Huh? I'll get it. I'll find it.
No, but Kane. No, those stats you're using are all competitions, right? The 40. He wasn't getting 40 Bundesliga goals, but the thing is though, Kane at Spurs broke the record at the time to be the highest scorer in a calendar year. He beat likes of Messi at the time, right? Kane was bagging goals for Spurs consistently.
But not like that. Right? But you know what? I think the more interesting question is what Savva asked. So Savva, when you brought up Cherky and Reinders, right? The jury's still out. Maybe it's my PTSD, but I remember Vincent Janssen was a top scorer in Holland. Bust. Soldado. We signed so many players.
Yeah, but you can't nitpick and pick out the ones that have gone bad. Look at the tons of strikers that have come from from Holland that have been absolutely sensational.
In the last 10 years. Who?
So now we're gonna now narrow it down to the last 10 years. I mean, you can't pick and choose.
Because it's different. No, I mean, last decade.
What's different about it?
The Prem is the Prem, right? Before 15 years ago, it was Italy. Ago. No, all the talent in the 80s, all the talent was in Syria.
I wasn't talking about the 80s. I was talking about in this century. I was talking about in this millennium. Look at the likes of Luis Suarez. He came from.
If the Prem's so tough, why did Aguero score for fun here? Aguero's goal rate here was better than anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Luis Suarez's goal rate here was better here than anywhere else. Erling Haaland's goal rate here is better than he's had anywhere else.
These are world-class players, Savva. These are world-class players, right? So we can't compare them. Those are outliers.
But let me ask you. The question I'll ask is this: Erling Haaland. If we're talking world-class strikers like Harry Kane, Erling Haaland, isn't it just the fact that these boys are just going to score bundles of goals wherever they play? Like if Harry Kane goes to Barcelona right now, Harry Kane will be playing for arguably the best team in Spain, right? And I would fully expect him to get 30, 35 league goals. The same way I expect him, if he played for City or Spurs again, I would expect him to get 30, 35 league goals. Is that a league thing or is that a club thing? So the argument I always hear, like yesterday, I don't know if any of you watched my watch along. There was this huge debate about Kane versus Haaland. There always is this big thing.
Yeah.
And I said Erling Haaland's goal record, right, pisses all over Harry Kane's. People don't like that. People don't want to hear that, but it does. His goal record at the age of 25 is just ridiculous.
Yep.
Then you get, but if Kane had played for Man City, right. So if that's the answer, right, then what we're saying is it's not the league, it's the team they play in. So we're saying if Harry Kane played for PSG, Bayern Munich, if Harry Kane played for Man City or whoever's winning the Premier League at the time, he's going to bag goals wherever he plays, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, I think playing for City, when Kane in his prime, playing for us when he was scoring 28, 30 goals, playing for City, I believe he would put up numbers that Haaland is putting up.
I don't
playing
disagree.
with world-class players.
Hang on. This was, let me, okay. But now, listen, let me play devil's advocate on this. Because this isn't an exact science. I think what you've got to remember is Harry Kane's a different footballer to Erling Haaland as well. What you've got to remember is the way Man City play now is very different to if we watched Man City in the treble-winning season, right? The difference is when Kane is at Spurs, he is the main man. Everything goes through him, right? I don't think any of us disagree with that, right? He was the best player at Spurs, right? Everything goes through Harry Kane. If he was playing for Man City during those periods, he's not the man. He's one of many men. You've got Mahrez, you've got De Bruyne, you've got Rodri, you've got Gundogan, you've got Silva. So the thing is, every single move wouldn't go through Harry Kane the way Tottenham every move did. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying we don't know for sure that just because Kane goes to play for City that he gets the same as Haaland. Haaland's a very different type of striker. See, from you know, if you look at the goal he scored yesterday, I don't think Kane scores that because I don't think Kane's got that strength and power, right? But there are goals that Kane scores that I don't think Haaland would as well. So
That's fair.
I feel like there's a bit of give or take. That's just my
You know what? Well, Pep changed the way he plays to accommodate Haaland a bit. I think the value of Kane is not just goals, it's contributions. So if Kane played on that City team with all that talent, he might not have scored all the goals that Haaland has scored, but his goal contributions, I feel like, would surpass what Haaland gives. Because with Haaland, he is a deadly goal scorer, but as far as the link-up play passing, he's not on Kane's level. So I feel like if you just take their complete games...
Have you watched... See, when people say that, I've got an issue when people say this, right? First of all, I think we've got to look back and say at the age of 25, which Haaland has just turned, Kane wasn't doing what he's doing now, right? Harry Kane was not that player, right? So I think you've got to say that it's a very difficult argument to have because one, they're different types of players.
Hypothetical.
One hit the ground running, right? One came out the womb scoring goals, right? Erling Haaland was playing professional football at the age of 18 months old or whatever he was doing, right? Kane was a late bloomer. If we're going to be brutally honest, Harry Kane wasn't like, oh my God, look at this wonder kid. Harry Kane had a lot of loan spells. It didn't quite work out. Not it didn't work out, but he wasn't like banging in goals and we're all going, this is the best player ever. And then he got his chance and he scored goals. But Haaland's actually got very good link-up play. But fans in the Premier League seem to not realise it because they don't watch any other leagues. Now, let me go back to what I said earlier. If anyone had watched Erling Haaland play for Borussia Dortmund, Borussia Dortmund don't play the same way Man City did. So Erling Haaland was dropping deep, driving with the ball from the halfway line or holding it up on the halfway line, giving it and going, right? His hold-up play and link-up play was superb at Dortmund. Then he comes to Man City and he doesn't need to do it, right? Because they've got Silva, Foden, De Bruyne. I don't know if Mahrez was still there at the time or Sane, whoever was there. Right. This is the difference. Now we're seeing Man City evolve, not playing this all-out tiki-taka type football. If you actually watch Haaland spending a lot more time outside the penalty area, holding up, linking up, bringing the ball down, bringing others into the play. The difference is Harry Kane does it as more of a playmaker type. Erling Haaland does it as more of a centre-forward target man type. Yeah, so I think there's. By the way, I'm not saying one's better than the other.
That's fair. That's more than fair, Savva. You're absolutely right. I agree.
I'm not saying one's better than the other. I know who I'd rather have in my team, depending on how my team plays, right? But I think when we have these debates like Kane v Haaland, it's very difficult when one is 32 and one is 25. You know, I think that's the difficulty because if we were going to do that, then what you got to start doing is going by averages. And if you start going by averages, Kane's not in the conversation. If you go by their averages, Erling Haaland has played I think it was something like 453 games for club and country and got like 401 goals.
Oh, like, it's ridiculous.
Like it's gone. But the problem is when you say it in a Spurs chat, people lose their mind. People lose their mind. What do you mean? It's Kane. Sure. But now, if I was to go back and see how many goals Harry Kane had scored by the age of 25, how many do we think it would have been?
Not.
Right. So it's very difficult, right? It's very difficult to have that. It's a nuanced conversation, right? It's not a...
Yeah.
I guess my point was, what I say, like, in 2-3 years, when Kane is older, he can come to us and play as a number 10. because I feel like he can be
Sure.
a top 10 in this league, just
Sure.
given his vision, his passing ability. With Haaland, it's different. As you said, he's a target man. Once his athleticism goes, I'm not sure he can do what Kane can do on the ball. So that's kind of my point.
I think
Sure.
he's very underrated on the ball. Actually, I think he's
Maybe,
very.
but I just
At the
haven't
age
seen
of
it personally.
25, who was looking at Kane? At the and this is the beauty of hindsight. At the age of 25, who was looking at Harry Kane and going, "This is going to be a playmaker"? No one.
Great point.
No one was look. So I get your point. For me, I think Erling Haaland's going to break all sorts of goal scoring records. Right? I think he's going to break all sorts of goal scoring records. And the thing is, he's been doing this since the age of 16. Like this guy, I'm not saying you, Eugene, I'm not saying you haven't said this, but I just think the disrespect this man gets, if he played for us, or if he played for Arsenal, Spurs fans or Arsenal fans, or whoever he played for, everyone would be going, this guy should win the Ballon d'Or. This is the best striker in the world. Look at his numbers. Because he doesn't, everyone looks for chinks in his armor. I watch him and go, you're a beast. This guy's a cyborg. This guy is not, this is not human. Oh, look at this light. Talking about cyborgs. What's going on there? This guy is not doing normal things.
No, it's ridiculous.
You know why though, Savva? Like, I'm speaking for myself, and this might not make any sense, but it's not even logical. For example, when you look at Ronaldo and Messi, Ronaldo is a physical specimen, right? He's a great athlete, great scorer. I like Messi more. He's smaller. He's not as athletic, but he does things that he's not supposed to be doing. If you look at Kane, he's slow, he's pudgy, like he's not an athlete. So for me, I just have more maybe of a, sympathy toward him because he's doing things that nobody ever thought he could do with the level of his athletic ability. With Haaland, he's a cyborg. You look at him, you're like, this guy should be a top striker. With Kane, he worked on his game so much that he turned himself into a world-class player without, being born with the ability that Haaland has. So for me personally, I have a soft spot for players like that who are not top physical
I completely agree. Look, I listen. Let's be fair. I'd love to be in a position where we had to pick between one of the two.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, look. What I will say is, when you look at this boy, he's 25 years of age. When you look at those numbers, right? So 94 and 104 in the Premier League is just unheard of. Like that is just sublime. And last year, everyone. I mean, who came into my chat the other week? Do you remember and said, "Oh, he had a terrible year last year. He got 34 goals in 48 games." And I'm like, can you imagine right now if we had a bloke scoring half of 34?
Haaland's judged at different rates, though, isn't he? Like, if Haaland gets 22 goals in a season, it's a shit season for him. Like that's his level, right? He's judged totally different, Haaland.
In the chat, I'm seeing like Mark said that Kane isn't slow. Compare Kane to Haaland. It's not even close. Kane is not blessed with great athletic ability. I'm not saying he's super slow, but you cannot compare him. Once Haaland gets going, it's tough to stop him. He's a train. Kane is different. He's not going to beat anybody in the foot race. So is he slow compared to us? No. Is he slow compared to other top strikers? I would say yes. But that's just me.
Yeah, but by the way, Mark, listen, what I said was, if you look at how many goals Kane had in his career by the age of 25, that's what I was saying. I didn't say he wasn't scoring goals, just saying by the age of 25, Erling Haaland's on I think it was, let me just double check. So Erling Haaland's in 350 and 400. Sorry, not 400 and 450. So it's 350 and 400 by the age of 25, right? Let's assume his career ends at the age of 33, 34. This guy's on course for 750, 800, 900 goals. So look, listen, it's each to their own, right? Each to their own. I mean, people going right now, who would who's the best striker in the world? Well, I mean, look, both of them are banging in goals for fun, right?
Yep.
Both of them banging goals for fun. What I would say is, to end this conversation and move on to the next subject, do we agree that right now there is no other striker in the world that can touch these two right now?
Oh, no one. Not
sure.
right now. There's no one.
And I'm not calling Mbappe a number 9, no matter how much he plays there. That for me is not a number 9. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, Mbappe should be a left winger, realistically. I think we. Yeah.
But that goes, Savva, to a different point. The quality of strikers right now in the game is so poor compared to other years. It's crazy.
That I agree with you on.
There are no top strikers. Like looking at 80s, 90s, there were always, every team had a really good striker. Like, I mean, there were a ton of good strikers. Now, it's shocking. Teams are paying 80, 90 million for average. Šeško, 8 non-penalty goals in Bundesliga, and he's going for what, like 80 million?
Shocking. The inflated numbers are just the problem is that the inflation on transfer fees now. I think we've almost got to ignore it because we're now in a seller's market, right? Where clubs turn around and go, hang on, there aren't many about. We've got one. Let's be fair. If you're RB Leipzig, they're going, well, there's not many number 9s about. We've got one that everyone seems to want. Cool. We're going to charge this. Frankfurt did the same with Ekatike, right? Newcastle could turn around and go, cool, you want Isak? Go on, break the British transfer fee to get him. Whereas
Stuttgart did the same when they said, well, we want 90 million for Voltemade. So it's the problem is it's a chain reaction, right? It becomes
the quality overall is so poor. Like if you look at the world, not just the Prem, just everywhere, right? It's like
I agree.
There's not enough top strikers. But defenders is different. It's the opposite.
The problem is what happens, Eugene, and this I don't actually disagree with you on this point, but what does happen is it, as I said, it's like a chain. So one goes, well, fine. If we're not going to sell you Isak Liverpool unless you pay 150 million or whatever the transfer fee was. They go, fine. The next team that Newcastle have that money in their back pocket go to whoever. They go, cool. You want our best player, our best striker. We want 90 million for Voltemade. And then whoever Stuttgart buy, that team, and that's how the inflation happens, because then the next team that they have their 90 million in their back pocket, they go, fine, we want 70 million pound for whatever player. And it just becomes a chain reaction.
Look, let me do some super chats and then we'll move on to the next subject. First of all, big up to everybody. I think it's not come through yet. It popped up on my screen that someone had bought me a coffee. If anyone would like to buy me a coffee, feel free. It's essentially, I'm very honest with you all. It's essentially a super chat, right? It's essentially a super chat. So yeah, anyone that would like to do that, the why can't I speak? What is wrong with me? I do this for a living. The QR code is there. Big up to Blaine. I think we saw this one. Thank you very much, Blaine. Appreciate you, my man. We haven't got there yet with Bolivia. Big up to you. Ray has become a member. Big up, Ray. I will squeeze in a couple of members-only shows this week. Probably Wednesday or Thursday, maybe one on Friday, just because it's International Week. Why not? Big up to you. And then it said you've been a member for 16 months. Well, that was a quick 16 months. It all happened in an hour. So big up to you, Ray. Thank you very much, my man. Big up to Dean Law, who just put in a super sticker, always puts in a super sticker. Chew, bloody chew. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. And then Blaine, always generous, said, sorry, Eugene, but I'm going to lean into the narrative. 68 to 70% of the Prem players come from foreign leagues. So around 450 players in the squads are, in your opinion, from poor leagues. Would you like to
about this, Blaine? You're late. They all play for Leeds and Sunderland and Forest and
nonsense.
Anyway, big up, Blaine. Really appreciate you. Look, for me, players are either good or bad. It don't matter what league they come from. They're good or they're bad. Look, where did Luka Modric come from? Where did Berbatov come from? Mohamed Kudus came from the Netherlands. No one's complaining. Big up to you, Blaine. Listen, the next subject. Here's Matt's in it. I love it. I love it when Matt's here because I know I'm going to get a terrible take. Isak was always overrated for me. He would have been he's overrated. Sure. Yeah, he's overrated. He's been one of the best strikers in the Premier League for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Teams don't put 150 million pounds down on an overrated player. It's ridiculous.
are we doing this thing? This is the problem. I'll say this time and time again. Let me just quickly find this, right? So we're doing this thing time and time again as football fans, where what happens is Alexander Isak has gone to Liverpool, right? Do you know how many league appearances he's made? Who would like to guess?
What, in the Premier League, did you say? Or
Premier League this year for Liverpool.
One.
Yeah, one or two. Maybe he came on as bench. One or two. It can't have been many.
Yeah, one or two. Yeah.
He played 74 minutes against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Right. He played 84 minutes against. Oh, hang on. No, what's this? That was it. That must have been a cup game, right? No, he played 84 minutes against Palace, and he played 24 minutes against Everton. So the guy has not played a single 90 minutes for Liverpool and has made 3 appearances, 1 as a sub, 2 as starter, right? Basically, what it means is he's not scored 2 hat-tricks in his first 3 games. I told you he's overrated. Told you he's shit. What are we doing here? Like,
I think it leads into one of the subjects, no? I think we can lead that into one of the subjects. Do we judge players too early?
Big up Andy Lester for the super chat. Really appreciate you, my man. The super sticker. Andy, probably Wednesday, I'll do 2. 1 on Wednesday or Thursday and 1 on Friday. We'll get a couple in. We'll do a couple more next week, mate. It's International Week, isn't it? We can do what we want. So you think Isak would have been an elite striker in the 2000s? I mean, those words didn't once, not once did those words come out of my mouth. But Alexander Isak's a top footballer. I feel like we can't just suddenly say the guy is rubbish. I mean, in the last 2 years, right? Here you go. In his last 64 Premier League games, how many goals has he got?
64 games? I would say 30. I don't know, 35.
30? Perchy?
What? How many goals has he scored?
In his last 64 Premier League games, how many
35.
Premier League goals has he got?
Last 64. I think he's probably scored about 40, 45.
He scored 45 goals in 64 games.
He's overrated, isn't he?
I never rated him. The year before, he got 11 in 22. So in his first year, he got 1 every 2. In his second year, he got 2 every 3. And his third year, he got 2.2 every 3. What are we doing? Matt, you're driving me bananas, mate. Like, what?
This is the guy that loves all of our crap football players, by the way. I love Matt, you're amazing.
Do you want to hear the best one? Did either of you guys watch my Bournemouth Man City watch along? Brentford Man City.
No, what was said? What's this idiot said? I love Matt, but you are an idiot. I'll call it how it is.
Right. It's his take yesterday was there's no difference between Savio.
Oh no! I think I know.
I think you and Tyler Dibbling.
He's trolling. He just wants attention for sure.
As well.
Look,
get out!
That's a troll.
Get out! That's ridiculous.
No, he's trolling.
Oh, shut up!
Don't fall for it, Savva. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
What? If anything made me think he's Matt, you would text. Yeah. So by the way. But I can't do it. I can't take it seriously.
We can't. No. We're moving. We're going to move on.
Right. Moving on. Okay. Let's go to this. Here we go. Let's go to this one. Do fans get on players' backs too early? Perchy, you could start with this one because Eugene started with the Farmers League question. Do fans get on players' backs too early?
Yes, and it always seems to happen when it's a rival football club. It's normally what happens, right, is I'm hearing about Florian Wirtz. Oh, he's not very good now. He's come to the Premier League. Great football player. Just give players some time. I heard it about Xavi Simons. Oh, he's now come to the Premier League and he's not physical enough. Bullshit. You've even mentioned Sesko's come in, right? Like, I know, not Messi, you said that, but people go, oh, he's crap. He's come to the Premier League. He's all this money. He's crap. I hear this about player after player. They come to the Premier League, and after 4 or 5 games, people have already judged him. Gyökeres is another one. It's, he's coming for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, because he hasn't scored 20 goals, he's crap. Nah, get off, man. Like, I look at these quality football players come into the Premier League, and immediately, because they haven't hit the ground running, they're no good. Players need time to come into it. I think what we and I don't think people do this on purpose, so I won't say, but people dehumanize a lot of these football players. They think they are this inner being, this robot, so to speak, that come in and automatically have to start working and at their top level, right? These are players that have got to bring their families, move to a new country. Some of them don't speak the language that to the country they're moving to. And the second they don't hit immediate numbers, all of a sudden, crap. Oh, he's overrated. Now he's come to the Premier League. He's not that good. I can guarantee you, and someone can clip this, so someone do it. Florian Wirtz will be a top football player for Liverpool, and we'll all be looking back going, God, we were too hasty on him. I heard this nonsense, by the way, about Erling Haaland when he came into the Premier League. Oh, he ain't going to do it in the Premier League. Bullshit. I hear it all the time, and it does my head in, right? Look how good Xavi Simons was against Leeds. I thought he was fantastic. And we just get way over the top on it. Mic and drop.
Yeah, by the way, that was a fake Matt account, the Solanke one. I have deleted that. But Matt, you did say you did say you'd rather Dibbling than Savio, and that's just as bad. Eugene, what do you think about what Perchy just said there in terms of how we rate players we get on their backs too early?
I don't think it's necessarily the rival fans, or we, just get on the rival fans. Look what our fans say about Tell, right? So I just think it's like if Wirtz was 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, nobody would care. However, if you're a record signing, the expectations are such where fans, again, whether it's right or wrong, but I think it's reasonable for the fans to expect you to hit the ground running. For example, Declan Rice, he gets some pelters. However, when he came in, you knew, okay, you knew what to expect from Declan Rice. With Wirtz, especially now that Liverpool is struggling, again, whether it's right or wrong, fans are going to expect £150 million player or whatever, or Euro player. Matthew Tell, if he was 5 million, nobody would say anything. Given that he's 40, we have certain expectations. So I think it's both kind of the ability, but also what the fans expected in the first place. With Xavi, I agree with you, right? He looked really good against Leeds. However, we think he's our savior. So if he doesn't become our best player in a month or so, you're going to see some fans also giving him a hard time. So is it logical? Maybe not. However, is it reasonable to expect your top signing to come in and improve your team right away? Yes. With Wirtz, he was a top player in Germany, obviously.
Are there any extenuating circumstances to that? Because I think what Perchy was saying, like with the human element, is we just expect that everybody's going to jump off a plane, move house, move country, train for a few weeks with their new teammates, and we go, Dana, perform like a seal. Now,
not.
I'm not saying it's rational, Savva. It's irrational, but that's what the fans are.
No, I get it. I get it. I'm not saying you said it. I get it. I just feel like, listen, I think a lot of it is due to kind of YouTube banter. A lot of it is football banter. But let's be brutally honest. There are so many examples of players that have come in, done nothing in the first 3 months, 6 months, first year, and everyone's gone, wow, they were terrible. And then you start seeing more and more out of them, and they've settled, and they've had a year, they've had 6 months, they've got to know their teammates, they're happy, their wife's settled. We don't know what's going on with their wives or their girlfriends and their kids and this, that, the other, and suddenly it all clicks. So for me, Florian Wirtz is a great example, because Florian Wirtz is a byproduct of the transfer fee. The transfer fee is nothing to do with Florian Wirtz. The same way the transfer fee was nothing to do with Jack Grealish, and the transfer fee is nothing to do with yada, 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 yada. Florian Wirtz coming to a new country, and we're 7 league games in, and everybody's losing their mind. And when I've watched him, I don't watch him and go, oh my God, everyone else in the team looks great, you look shit. I watch Liverpool as a whole and say they're not functioning, right? Liverpool as a whole are not functioning. I bet you when Liverpool start functioning, Wirtz starts functioning, and all of a sudden this noise goes away. Now, the difference I will say, though, for somebody like a Matisse Tell is, first and foremost, what we've seen Wirtz do in the Bundesliga and on the world stage, we've never seen Tell do. Second of all, we had hindsight. We had hindsight. We got to watch this man on loan to say, is there enough there that you go, yeah, this guy should definitely be given a contract? And I think most fans went, no, but we did it anyway, right? So we did it. So whether he was 5 million, 40 million, 100 million, most fans have seen enough from Tell over the years to go, I'm not sure why we're buying and we could buy better. Now, Florian Wirtz, what's he got to do? Is it goals and assists? Is it sublime passes? Is it the pass before the pass? Is it controlling games? Everyone's going to judge him differently. Even in his next game, right? Imagine in his next game. So Liverpool have got United in their next game, right? Liverpool could win 5-0 and Wirtz could control the game from start to finish. But if he doesn't get a goal or assist, everyone goes, there you go, Wirtz is shit again. And that's unfortunately the era we're in. So I think people like that need time.
Isn't Savva, sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but isn't a good example of this whole notion, Jeremy Doku? Because when he joined Man City, everyone was going, oh, this guy's crap, like he doesn't know what he's doing. I think he looks like one of the best players in the league right now.
Yeah, he's getting better and better, isn't he?
He looks phenomenal. And for me, he's the best example of fans, and it is football fans, and maybe YouTubers, so maybe it's actually Savva's fault, so you can blame Savva because he's a YouTuber. I'm not anymore. I don't count myself as one, but I'm joking, by the way. But my point is like in the sense of, because everyone does this whole 007 thing, which I think is fucking embarrassing. I don't care anyone that does this whole 007, I'll grow up. Like, I genuinely think grow up. I think it's pathetic personally, but like these are football players that have come in that. A lot of what these players also do, you know, when you said at the moment, they'll get off a plane and then they'll train for a few weeks. Some of them don't. Some of them get off the plane, train for a day, and then they're started on the Saturday. They haven't even moved their stuff from whatever country they've come from. And then we expect instant. And I think it is a byproduct of an era that we're in, that we get so much information. And I think stats don't help. So I'm kind of sort of deviating from the whole original point. Stats don't help. Because I think if you watched Florian Wirtz play, if you didn't need to have the stats in front of you, you'd go, no one would sit there and go, oh my God, he's awful with that team. He doesn't do anything. You look and go, Disagree. He's involved. He's involved in their play, but he isn't getting goals and assists for X, Y, Z reason. But I think what we do is we have such information, and almost we judge a player based on all that information. So we look at it and go, oh my God, he's crap, blah, blah, blah. Half the time, these people don't even watch the games, right? Half the time, people don't even watch them. I think the times I've watched Liverpool, I haven't watched every Liverpool game this season. I've looked and watched him play and gone, he looks a good player. Technically, he looks a very good football player. Maybe just not clicking at that final third stage. But I think we're using Wirtz as an example, but I could use so many examples. I mean, the amount of people that were going, what a waste of money, Xavi Simons, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll use a Tottenham player in this example. I'm sitting there going, are you for real? Simons looks he looks a gleaming light in our football club at the moment. And I think, as I said, I think it's just a byproduct of an era that we're in, that we want instant. And it's not just football. I think it's in general, everything has to be, we need to know everything. We want to judge everyone immediately. And we lose a lot of humanizing element when it comes like that.
But like, to be fair, you know, for all the examples of the players who came in, had a slow start and improved, you know, the following season, the season after, there have been even more players with high expectations who came in to the Prem and failed. By failed, that didn't mean they were bums, but they didn't meet expectations and had to go back to Europe,
Like
right? So way more than succeeded. Now, as far as
sorry, just to pick up, what do you mean by
Yeah.
that? Sorry, just to sort of, I'm not interrupting, but I
Yeah.
didn't get the
For
point by it.
example, you know, Janssens, Soldados, even
Yeah,
Ndombeles.
but you can argue that there will be players that come in. Not every single football
Right,
player.
no,
is
exactly, of course.
successful. So
The
I get
team
your point.
always
Yeah,
rises to the top. I agree.
of
So
course, yeah, of
I
course.
think with Wirtz, and like you, I don't watch every Liverpool game. So what I did is I've been listening to Liverpool podcasts. I was just interested to see what their fans think about Wirtz. So they're concerned, and their issue is not even about kind of like physicality, this or that, and it's not even about GA. With Simmons, for example, he doesn't have the GA. However, against Leeds, he controlled that game. You could see he was the
Who, sorry?
conductor. He was trying to make things happen with words. The
Yeah,
issue is the vision. Like the game seems to be too fast for him. The vision isn't there. He's not doing what they brought him here to do. And again, I agree with you. This could be. It's going to take him some time
I
to
think
adjust.
I think
But
you're,
Havertz was a player in Germany, right? He came
who?
in.
Yeah, it was
Havertz.
phenomenal by
He
Leverkusen.
was.
By the way, it was
Now
outstanding.
he's not a terrible player, but he's not what he was in Germany.
Yeah,
So
but he's coming to a new environment. He's still learning. And I, by the way, I think the byproduct of what Liverpool done this window doesn't help him as well. And by the
I
way,
agree.
that's not just him. By the way, that is, I look at the whole lot, and I think I mentioned to Savva before about this, that when you buy all these players, I know we always talk about, oh, we want to get 7, 8, 9 players and stuff like that. It also can be a detriment, right? Because you've got all these quality football players and you're immediately going, work together. Well, that's going to take time, right? He's got to learn that. And also the other players that are still in there have still got to work out how they play. The manager's got to find the right system for all of it. So I think it's a bit of a byproduct. I just think what we do, and this, by the way, is not you, because I'm not blaming you on this, but I see so much, right, when it's immediate reaction. And I'm going, guys, this is a football player, as I said, that is a very, very highly talented football player that comes in. So Count Duckett said Harry Kane didn't need time at Bayern. Some players will go to a football club and immediately be successful. I mean, I think we need to be really, really careful when we do this. Yeah, we can pick out some that do, and we can also pick out some that don't.
that's a different thing. Also, Harry Kane is a 3-year-old
Sure,
world-class
exactly.
striker, and he goes to an easier league. So, but I guess the point, like Perch, I agree with you.
I'm not biting at that one. Don't worry. Carry on.
Yeah.
I want to bite, and I didn't even hear what was
No.
said. Who went to an easier league?
No. I think we're agreeing. Like,
Who?
Harry Kane. Not biting. I'm not biting.
You know, so and
if Harry Kane went to an easier league, doesn't that make Erling Haaland better because he's smashing his numbers in a more difficult league?
Boom! Mic drop.
As a goal scorer, sure, yeah.
But
as a pure goal scorer, sure.
But
look,
I think. So yeah, you go, mate.
So it ties back to kind of our earlier discussion, and I think I mentioned it in our chat when Zlatan was interviewed, because he played in Spain, England, and Italy, right? And they asked him, "What's the difference between the leagues?" So he said, and that's not me. He said, "Spain is very technical, right? To succeed in Spain, you need to be a technical player. Italy is tactical. It's all about tactics, right? The setup. Prem is about speed and power, right? So the attributes that you might need to be a top player in the Prem might be a bit different. It doesn't make Wirtz not a great player, but as you said, it might take him a year or two to adjust. But some never adjust. That's my point. And again, with the fans with Liverpool, they have to win the league. So when the fans see them struggle and Wirtz does not perform and his record signing, it's not unfair for them on the fan level to ask some questions about, hey, why didn't we sign a center back? Why didn't we get a Guehi, but we got Wirtz or Isak? Do you know what I mean? So for fans, it's a fair question to ask.
Not you, Eugene. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing now that we're at the stage where Savio is being compared to people like Dibbling and Archie Gray. I genuinely don't know what is happening. I don't know what's happening.
It's also fake accounts.
I think for charity, for a charity event, Savva has to sit there muted and listen to Matt's takes for a like 3-hour period, and we just donate money to literally watch Savva's head explode. Like, let Matt just go in, oh yes, Savio is worth, and everyone's slating Gray. Oh, get out, man. Matt,
it's like a torture thing.
I rate the levels of trolling, to be fair, because you can't believe all of this stuff. I think it's hilarious. But look, I want to sort of just touch on. I think the key bit here, we can kind of finish it off on this point, because I don't think it's much. I think there's some good points are made, but I think the final bit for me is I think we've just got to wait. I think this time next year we could be one or two ways. By the way, I'm not sitting here dying on the hill that Wirtz will be successful in Liverpool.
I'll die on that hill.
Hang on.
Actually, Sal, how long are you going to give him to say he's a success? Again, he might be like a Havertz level player, which is not what he should be.
But he's not a Havertz.
But how long would you give him? Like, when are you going to say?
Okay, but Eugene,
he's better than Havertz. He's definitely.
That's the question. No, just how long are you going to give him?
So here's what I'll say. When the question is asked, and I always ask fans to step back from sweeping statements. When the question is, how long do you give him? What does that mean? Are we saying, right, you've got 20 Premier League games. If you've not done it by then, Liverpool are going to sell? What does it mean? How long do you give him?
I mean, when we say he's a top player that justifies his price tag versus his decent
in 4 years, 5 years, when he's however many years he's at Liverpool. Surely you judge him over how many years. Let's look at Son, right? When Sonny came to Tottenham in year one, who was gassing up about Sonny? 10 years later, people are crying if you say that he's not a legend or saying he's not world class. So you've got to, for me, every footballer is different. Every footballer is different personality, different personal life, taking kids out of school, where they're moving to, their teammates, their surroundings, all of these different things. We don't have a clue what's going on. There might be one game where suddenly Florian Wirtz, it clicks and you go, there you go, that's what you've been waiting for. And then he goes on a run and he's brilliant. But go on.
To push back just a bit, and I agree with you, but I think you cannot take performances or GA in isolation. It's so tied to expectations, right? When Son came in, nobody expected him to become a top player. With Wirtz, it's different. Is it unfair? Yes.
So is it different because of the price tag? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, exactly. Is it unfair? Yes.
Okay.
But I think it ties into the whole thing.
But now let's remove price tags, right?
Whichever
way you look at it, Eugene, if me or you go to work for a company, right? One of us could be being paid $100,000. Another one could be being paid $500,000, right? Both of us are moving company. Both of us need time to settle. Both of us, I forget what the job is. Both of us need time to learn our colleagues. Both of us need to understand how the company works. Both of us need time to acclimatize. Now, one of us, maybe you go in on 500 grand a year. I go in on 100 grand a year, but I acclimatize quicker. Who knows? right? And people go, oh, I can't believe they're giving him that guy. But maybe the year 2, people go, God, he's so much better than Savva. That's why we paid the money for him. But he just needed a bit more time. Football fans now, though, right? And here's what I'm going to say. I can see people in the chat going, oh, why don't you apply this to Tell and Gray? The difference is with people like Tell and Gray, they're not on pedestals. It's fans that put them on a pedestal, which I will shoot down, right? Fans, I get it with Wirtz. I get what you're saying, Eugene. With Wirtz, the Liverpool fans went, wow, big summer. And every fan who was not Liverpool went, your boy better be brilliant from game 1. Your boy. But inside, let's be fair, Arne Slot has been around football for what, 40 years? Whatever, I don't know. He's been around football for decades, right? You don't think that Arne Slot saying to him, just relax, chill. You'll be fine. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't think that people like Virgil van Dijk, who have been around the block, are going to put their arm around this young lad and go, mate, we've got you. Just keep doing what you're doing. All the noise is outside. All the noise will be outside. It won't be inside the football club.
No, that makes sense. But like going back to your job analogy, right? As a manager myself, like if I hire a consultant or a manager for a lot of money versus a junior developer, right? I'm in engineering. My expectations of that person, I want him, hey, I'm paying you top dollar. I want you to come in and hit the ground running. If your performance is the same as the junior guy, you're going to be sacked, right?
Well, what's the difference? But Eugene, okay, so I used to be in this field, but from the talent acquisition side of it. The difference is if I was asked to headhunt a CTO for a tech company, right? And I'm the first, like, obviously I have the, what do you want? What are you looking for? What sort of company they're coming from? What's your salary bracket? Right. We can pay up to £500,000 a year. Brilliant. Right. I know that search is for somebody that's going to lead this company for 5, 10, 15 years. Right. They're telling me we need a contractor. They've got 3 months. This is the project. They're not staying afterwards. They're going to be paid X amount a day. I'm going out and getting someone who is a specialist in doing that. This person has worked for Google, Microsoft, Facebook in the last year, 3-month projects. Look at the testimonials. Boom. Florian Wirtz isn't being bought for 7 Premier League games. So fans can judge him on 7 Premier League games, but I'm guessing he's got a 6 to 7 year contract, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen?
That's the difference, isn't it? That's the difference.
No, I agree. But what's going to happen if Liverpool do not win the league this year and he has a subpar season, unfairly, I think a lot of his career, like, I think he's going to be the scapegoat. That's just the way fans are. It's unfair, but that's what's going to happen.
Sure, but what if he doesn't have a great year this year? And let's be fair, if Liverpool don't win the league this year, it will mean that many of them haven't had a great year. Yeah. Right?
But fans will focus on him because he's the record signing.
Yeah, but that's because fans just look at the finance and go, he cost that much money. If you ask Florian Wirtz if he wanted to be sold for 100, I don't know what it is, 30 million, whatever it is, Florian Wirtz is going to be like, I've got nothing to do with it. Like I've got nothing to do with it. But who's to say that next year Liverpool don't win the league and Florian Wirtz is the player of the season in the Premier League? Would you then look at the end of that year and go, yeah, but because he wasn't great in year 1, it means he's shit? No, people would say he's settled. Look how good he is. And De Bruyne is a case in point in this. Mo Salah is a case in point. Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, right? Like Harry Kane took years to get going. Son is a case in point in this. Luka Modric, in Luka Modric's first 3-4 months in the Premier League, I remember we were all watching him going, this guy's weak. This guy, he was stuck out on the left wing. This guy's weak. He can't play. Oh my, this is never going to work. New manager comes in, system changes. He moves into centre midfield, and we're all going, Harry Redknapp, you genius.
Gareth Bale.
Right. Gareth Bale took years to it. So if we remove the price tag, I think as fans, we get annoyed because we look at price tags and go, for example, I'm annoyed, like when we spend 75 million on Odegaard and Tell, I'm annoyed because it's like we could have bought someone better. if I said to you, Eugene, what number 10 in the world it was more highly rated than Florian Wirtz that Liverpool could have gone and got?
Yeah, I mean, he was probably up there. I mean, it's
Right,
tough.
right. So it's not like Liverpool didn't go and get the number one rated number
Right.
10. It's just that he needs a bit of time. But
Just,
for banter, fans have a go.
Just last thing on this, and purchase, sorry, but I think, no, I agree with you. I think one thing that we don't think about, or we cannot tell, we can look at somebody's skills and say, yep, he's a great player, great talent. However, the mentality, we do not know. So some players, they crumble under the pressure of being that top, the record signing. So yes, he has the skills. However, is he mentally strong? We do not know, right? So that could be the difference between him making it and not making it.
Germans have got that resilience.
Well,
Look,
in general, but some players, they might crumble under pressure.
By the way, can I just say, listen, Matt, I know what you're doing. Listen, what I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying, right? Liverpool have not spent £100 million on this player. Oh, thank you very much. What is that, hazelnut? Oh, okay. I've got a hot chocolate from Ben's coffee shop.
Oh,
hazelnut praline.
Look at the free promo as well. God, how much has Ben paid you for that?
Hey, good looking. Look, so this is the thing, and this is why I always say to Matt to come on, because he doesn't use his ears, right? As I said, the price tag isn't for 7 Premier League games. Liverpool did not spend 100 and whatever million on him and go, if this boy's crap in the first 7 games, what a waste of money. I tell you what, I remember, let's use this example, guys. And obviously we're all of this age to this guy's still playing, right? So listen, I'd get Matt on all day long. He'd waffle for ages, but I'd get him on. Virgil van Dijk, right? If everyone cast their mind back, I don't know, what was it, 6 years ago he joined Liverpool? I don't know when it was. It was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
I remember when he signed, everyone went, 75 million. What? For this guy? 75 million. Oh my God.
Yeah. For a Southampton centre-back. I remember.
Right. Now, 6, 7 years. Can someone in the chat let me know what year he joined? 6, 7 years later, the whole world is going, well, Virgil van Dijk's the best centre-back in the world, right? And he's won Champions Leagues with Liverpool. He's won Premier League titles with Liverpool. He's won Player of the Year at Liverpool. But you know what?
2018, sorry.
Right, 2018, 7 years. So in that 7 years, look at what they've got from him over 7 years. But fans are looking, look at what Liverpool have got through Florian Wirtz from about 4 starts and 3 sub-appearances. Like it's truly, truly baffling. It's baffling how people don't have that common sense to say, they would have liked a better start from him.
It would have been interesting to see what people had said 7 games into Virgil van Dijk's Liverpool career, right? They were just building under, was it Brendan Rodgers that signed him? Someone in the chat, love a Togo. Someone in the chat, was Brendan Rodgers the manager at that point?
No, it was Klopp. I think it was his second season. It was Klopp's second season.
You're right, yes, you're right. Klopp's second season, right? I'd love to. Do you know what would be so good, right? Just to pick up on the retrospective of this, and it'd be interesting. And people going, "Oh, this guy's not good enough. This guy's not good enough." Blah 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 nonsense. When you look back at it, £75 million for Van Dijk, bargain, right?
But we've seen him play in the league. Same thing when Arsenal signed Declan Rice. We know what he's all about in this league. So
but the point is but I get it. But the thing is I think what we do, right? I think it's an entirety thing, and we can probably move on from this book because we've got some other points. But I think it's an overall entirety thing that what we do is we pick one player and judge it and go, oh my God. And then we don't judge it on other, I think it's a very individual case. Some come in and go, click. I think you used Declan Rice as an example. Came in, I think the one beauty for Declan Rice, what he got the beauty of when he moved to Arsenal, never had to move his house. He never had to move anywhere. He just went to a different training camp, which was it's not what's our whatever theirs is. I always forget theirs, but name one. But my point
Arsenal is London Colney, isn't it?
Colney, yes, London Colney. But my point is he goes from, is it Rush Gardens, which is West Ham's? Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. But my point is he doesn't have to move home from East London to go and work to move to Arsenal. So he gets the beauty of not. But there's so many cases where some don't work, right? And by the way, and by the way, like as I said, what I was trying to say about the Florian Wirtz thing, I think he will be an absolute success at Liverpool. I think he will be sensational. But if he doesn't, he doesn't. Happens, right? Good players sometimes, by the way, can go to teams and it does not work out for whatever reason. It doesn't make him a shit football player. It just means it doesn't work out at that club. He could go to XYZ and
you know what?
Let's not do Messi discussion. I'm going to get triggered.
I didn't think it was possible to beat Matt's terrible opinion earlier. Sorry, someone has just said, if Messi was so good, why hasn't he won a Champions League since 2015? Prime Messi was great, but the levels dropped and people just go off his aura. Lionel Messi, at the age of 35 or whatever it was, won the World Cup for Argentina on his own. What are we? I'll tell you what, let's bring up Messi. Let's look at how shit Messi is. 1 second. I can't. Not for me. I'm not taking Ronaldo over Messi for me. I think Ronaldo is an amazing athlete, but if we're going to do the whole Messi Ronaldo debate, Messi
should have 2 World Cups, if not for that clown. What's his name?
Messi's a better football player. Ronaldo's a better athlete.
Hang on.
Ronaldo is a better athlete.
Let's not do this.
Messi's a better football player.
No, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Oh my God.
This is the beauty.
All of Messi's the best.
This personifies, Eugene, the What Are We Doing Here podcast.
That is true. I forgot where I was.
Right. So the What Are We Doing Here podcast is for people like Matt and Ghosted who say things like this. Right, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at the decline of Lionel Messi since 2015. So as we can see, to be fair, he's right. In 2016, he only managed 41 goals. In the 16-17 season, he only managed 54. Wow. Shocking. I mean, this is terrible. What a shit player. By the way, in that 16-17 season, he managed 37 league goals in 34 appearances. The next year, 45, he went down, then up to 51, then only 30. Oh, my God, he's absolutely dreadful. Let's have a look at what he's won since 2015 and see how shit he is. I'm
almost impressed that you've actually got a worse take than Matt in the chat. You've done well.
Look at this. Sorry, in 2022, which is 7 years after his decline, he got 18 goals for Argentina in 1 year. Let's have a look. His honours. So since he was shit in 2015, he's won 2 league titles with Barcelona, 4 Copa del Reys, 2 Copa de Españas, right? He won the Champions League that year, right? He's won
Super Cup.
2 League Earns, the Trophy to Champions. He's won all the stuff at Inter Miami. He's won the World Cup. He's won the Ballon d'Or 3 times since. He's been so shit that he's won the Ballon d'Or 3 times since 2015. Guys, if ever the saying, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
You've actually come with one of the worst opinions I've ever seen. Like, when you hear people go, maybe we should start Gray over like Paulinho, and I go, what are you talking about? You've actually come out with one of the worst, like you make Eugene's take seem good. I'm joking, by the way. I'm taking the piss. But on a serious point, that is...
Oh, hang on. You know your take is bad when even Matt is on our side. You know your take is bad.
The thing about Messi is, if he wasn't the GOAT attacker, if you put him in the 10, he would be a GOAT number 10. he'd be a goat midfielder. He could
Can
do
we-
like so that the whole argument Messi versus Ronaldo. Whoever is the better goal scorer, you can argue. Whoever is the best footballer, there's no argument. Messi would be the best midfielder, the best attacker. Like it, there's no argument.
Do you know what? I've never really been. I've got my favourite, right? I've never really understood the Messi Ronaldo debate, because what happens with it is anyone who picks Messi can't just say I prefer Messi, but wow, it's Ronaldo. What they do is they go, I pick Messi because Ronaldo, and they start listing all these things, and you go, hang on, these have been the best two players in the world for 2 decades. Surely, yeah, I prefer him or I prefer him. I've got no problem if anyone prefers Ronaldo. I prefer Messi. But these two, can we agree, in the last 2 decades, they've been there. Everyone else is starting there. Like,
they're in different categories.
They are
in different categories, right?
level. Ronaldo was smashing in the Prem while Messi was playing in France. Ronaldo was smashing them in the Prem.
Is a different. I have a different definition of smashing, I guess, but that's just me.
Let's have a look then. Was Ronaldo smashing? Hang on, let's have a look. Ronaldo.
I don't think he smashed it when he went back to Man United. I thought.
Let's check. Let's check. Hang on. This is the beauty of, first of all, my light not working, but this is the beauty of. Hang on, where's Ronaldo? Hang on, there you go. Cristiano. I don't know why I didn't type in Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Cristiano Ronaldo. Here we go. Right. This is the beauty of being able to use the internet. It's right there for everyone to see. Right. So let's see what he smashed in the Premier League when he came back. So when he came back to Man United, he got 24 goals in all competitions, which is good, but I wouldn't say that you smashed it. And the next year he got 3 in 16. Listen. For me, I think it's. As I said, they're both just there, and the kids would call them goats, right? They're both there. Yeah, no one can touch them for me. Like right now, I don't look at any footballer in the world and go, yeah, you've taken over Ronaldo or Messi's man. I don't.
Not even close. Not even close. People talk about Yamal, great player. Maybe he's gonna get there, but Messi in his prime, or not even in his prime, Messi post prime.
Yamal's the only one which I go, you might get there. You might get. There is opportunity. By the way, if I talk about a Yamal take that we heard in that, I'm not even going to say it was that bad. I'll tell you after. It was absolutely.
I want to hear it now.
96 goals in the calendar year. Nobody's going to do that ever. 96 goals. Never going to happen again. Ever.
This is the take, and anyone in the chat there is in the group knows what I'm saying. I'm not going to say who because it was the worst take ever. Yamal hasn't made it yet.
Oh, well, but again, it's relative, right? It's relative to your expectations.
No. It's not. Yamal has. He's the best. I think he's the best player in the world right now. He has made it.
I
don't think there's a better football player on this planet than Yamal right this second.
In the world?
That's my take. Yeah.
I mean,
name me a better football player in the world right now.
That's a good point.
Name me one.
I mean, Haaland, but yeah, I mean,
goal scorer.
He's definitely up there. He's definitely up there.
Player, Yamal is the best football player in the world right now. Anyone in the chat will argue that one with me.
If I was starting a team, I would definitely pick him number 1 if we did a draft. However, on the impact right now, I mean, he's definitely up there.
No. Sorry, Eugene, we're going to stop here. Did you just dunk Toblerone into your hot chocolate? What's wrong with you, you absolute lunatic?
What's that? I don't even know what that is.
That sounds just weird. He does weird shit. It's like, carry on. I apologize for interrupting.
No.
Eugene, you've
that. Okay, I know that. Yep.
Hey. Oh, wow. Thank Matt. Best thing you've ever said.
Now it tells you, Perch, you're in the mud. If Matt agrees with you.
Matt, the best thing you've ever said in an FHTV show. Well done. You're not as stupid as I thought you were. Well done, sir.
Pedri is close. He's not Yamal.
Well, Pedri's a good shout. I wouldn't be if Pedri or Rodri. If someone mentioned Rodri, I wouldn't be against Rodri.
I mean, Dembele.
How funny is it though? How funny is it though? The fact that we're in 2025 and somebody throws up an 18-year-old's name as the best player. By the way, he's only just turned 18 in the last few months. And all of us straight away, no names naturally come to the top of my head. No, you know, like back in the day, you could have gone, oh, Figo, oh, Zidane, oh, Ronaldo. Right now I'm going, yeah, who is the best player in the world? And I think, look, I mean, Harry Kane on form has got to be right up there. Haaland on form.
Dembele,
you know,
has to be there, right?
Dembele, the guy that's just won the Ballon d'Or's got to be right up there. But Yamal, for me, okay, let's put it another way. Yamal, for me, is the best football, like footwork, skill, pace, take-ons, dribbling. Like, for me, he's just got it all.
He's electric. When I watch him, I cannot take my eyes off of him. I just want, like, he's electric. He is, like, I would pay a lot of money just to watch him play. And I wouldn't say that about many players right now. There are only a couple where I would say I would pay money just to watch him play.
As I said, he's the one player that I think could come close to the Messi Ronaldo debate.
96 goals in the calendar year.
I don't know if he'll get there. Like, we don't know. He's still young, but he's the one where I go, you could get to that level. I don't look at any other football player at the moment in world football go, you could get to that level. And by the way, someone in the chat said Barcelona bias on me. I don't support Barcelona. I support their rivals. So I've got no bias. Support Espanyol. Come on, man.
Sorry, Tottenham are Barcelona's rivals.
Of course.
hey, if anything, I now support Burnley now from what it looks like, because Espanyol got bought out by the people that own Burnley. So I want Burnley now to stay up as well.
But you know what, Perch? Also, sorry, like, on the Yamal question, maybe, you know, call me an old man, you know, like how, like, you know, old, I'm like, oh, the kids listen to this music and it sucks and this and that. But when I look at Ronaldo and Messi, the competition that they played against, the center backs that they played against, and just the players overall, versus now Yamal plays against, I don't know who, it's night and day. They were like world-class center backs galore, world-class midfielders everywhere. Now it's a different game.
I completely agree with you, and this is the thing. This is what I remember. I was having I was on a drive all the way up to Liverpool with a couple of my mates, and one of them's a massive Liverpool fan, and he was going, "Oh, Virgil van Dijk's the best centre back the Premier League seen." And I said, "Look, I think Virgil van Dijk's class." I said, "But the difference for me is the centre backs. Bearing in mind this guy's my age. So the centre backs that we grew up with, I say grew up with, but those centre backs, the Jaap Stams, the Terrys, the Ferdinands, the Bruces, the Pallisters, the Toney Adams, these guys were playing against top centre forwards every week.
Yeah.
The thing for me is Virgil van Dijk, by the way, absolute class. Let's not make any bones about it. He's been one of the best centre backs in the world for the last 5-6 years. But how often does Virgil van Dijk come up against a top centre forward? Like in the Premier League.
Great point.
Haaland for Man City. Right now, tell me another top centre. Okay, let's go. But he's not going to come up against Isak now, is he?
Yeah,
who's a top centre forward where you turn around and go, what a battle this is going to be today between Van Dijk and X player?
I can only think of Richarlison. That's it.
But it's actually, when you think about it, it's a good point.
That's the level of the strikers in the Prem.
Because you look and go, the next level down, right, is your next level down is Gyökeres, probably. I think that's fair. You could argue maybe Sesko, maybe Mateta. And then you're sitting there going, now you're sort of trying to find answers, right?
Right. Like, let's look at the Premier League table, right? I love this show. We just float about and we talk about whatever we want.
That's why it's called the What Are We Doing Here? We literally just float about with topics. This is
so if you look at that, so let's address the elephant in the room, right? Erling Haaland is the elephant in the room, right?
Sure.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. He's the standout striker in the Premier League. Yes. So let's remove Man City. You look at Arsenal and Gyökeres. For me, I think Gyökeres will score loads of goals. I think most of them are going to be flat track bully type goals. However, let's see if he proves me wrong. But at the moment, I shouldn't think Van Dijk loses too much sleep. Spurs, let's move on. Bournemouth, Evan Nilsson, decent striker. But again, someone like Van Dijk in their prime isn't going, oh my God, I'm up against Evan Nilsson. Right? Mateta, decent, very good Premier League forward, right? Does his job good. But again, this isn't a guy that bangs 30 goals a year and does that. Chelsea, Pedro, very good footballer, not a top number 9. I think he's a top footballer. I don't know if he's a top 9. Everton, I mean, what have they got? Tierno, Barry, and Beto. Sunderland have got Isidore. Man United, Sesko, maybe in the future, but right now, no. You've then got Voldemort. I think, listen, I like Voldemort, but again, I shouldn't think top centre-halves are going to go, bloody hell, this is the most difficult game. Brighton have got Danny Welbeck. Villa have got Watkins. Fulham have got
Muñoz.
Rodrigo Muñoz. Leeds United have got absolutely nothing up top.
Calvert-Lewin.
Brentford, Thiago, and that all right. Forest have got Wood. Burnley have got what's his name?
Lyle Foster.
West Ham have got Fulkrug, and Wolves have got what's his name? The big bloke up front. Strand Larson.
It's shocking. If you go through, it's actually shocking how bad the quality of strikers is.
Right. Isn't it? It is poor. Now you look at these centre halves now, teams don't need to have top quality centre backs now, because first of all, they're facing one striker, not two. In my day, so I'm making myself sound like I'm 70. In my day, everyone had 2 up front. So the 2 centre half were worked the entire game, because one of them took the big man, one of them took the little man. And I remember, like, I went to the playoff final when I worked for Cholton. I went to the playoff final, the famous 4-all, Cholton Sunderland, where Clive Mendonca scored a hat trick, and every Sunderland goal was like Quinn and Phillips, big man, little man, and you could see the centre halves almost looking like, I don't want to take Quinn, like, I don't want to take the big guy. Now you got 2 centre halves, they're marking 1 forward, and none of the forwards are that great. That's why when people tell me now, God, a standard of footballers, nah, not in a million years the standard of footballer now.
I mean, even before my time, before I started following Spurs, but when Spurs weren't great, they had like Kane, Ben, who else? They had like 3.
Berbatov, Defoe, Pavlyuchenko.
Exactly. And they were, right now, they'll be top strikers. And back in the day, they were like, okay, they're decent, but so it's crazy.
Rudy Voller. Ellie pulling out top 1990 strikers from the World Cup. Rudy Voller, the old spitting scandal. Was it him and Hullet or him and Rijkaard? Him and Hullet, wasn't it?
No, Hullet spat at him, didn't he? And it was hanging
in his hair. Yeah. If anyone's not seen that clip, just type in Rudy Voller, Hullet spitting.
Yeah, they both got sent off, and he was walking through the tunnel with spit hanging down his head.
But Rudy Voller, right? So Rudy Voller, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm sure many of the age do, Rudy Voller was Jurgen Klinsmann's strike partner, right? So Jurgen, but look, players like Jurgen Klinsmann, right? By the way, I'd love this guy up front for Spurs. I think he's a very good footballer. I think he's an unorthodox, he's an enigma, isn't he? Right? He's an unorthodox player. I reckon he'll score a lot of goals at Newcastle, but I'm talking about the days of, oh my God, this week I'm up against Fowler and Owen. Next week I'm up against Robbie Keane. The week after I'm up against York and Cole. The week after, I'm up against Jimmy Floyd, Hasselbank, and Ida Gudjonsson, right? The next week, I'm up against Berbatov and Defoe.
Yeah.
You don't have that now at all.
I have a theory, Savva, about why. I have a theory. Sorry, Perchy.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, even lesser teams like the Boltons and players like Kevin Davis where even now, Kevin Davis would be one of the best strikers in the league nowadays, because I think what people do, what we look back at some of these players and go, every
Yes,
team.
Angus.
Oh God, yeah, of course.
Yes,
You know what this
Angus.
is? My
Yes,
theory is
Angus.
my
Yes,
conspiracy
Angus.
theory. Not conspiracy theory, but the theory is we're seeing the quality of the league drop because of the downfall of Brazil and Netherlands. Brazil, look at their team right now compared to their team a decade ago. They had top players in every position. Now
Oh,
R9, Richarlison is their striker. Look
these-
at Dutch players before and Dutch players now. So I just feel like
Mate.
the pool of players coming out of those two nations is pretty
Oh,
weak compared
Rob,
to before. That's why
someone put in Robbie
the game is
Fowler as
struggling.
well. Am I able just to address something quickly? Just quickly.
Yeah,
Because
go
it's
for
doing
it.
my head. I keep seeing in the chat, and I shouldn't look at it, but I do. Okay, Alfred, you know, when I don't sit there like, I used to live in Barcelona. When I lived there, I went and watched Espanyol. I keep an eye on him. I'm not one of these die-hard fans. Like relax a bit. Like Warren as well in the chat. Just relax. Yeah. I watched Espanyol. I don't think it's got any relevance to Tottenham. They don't play in the same league. They will never play in the same competition unless they get into Europe for whatever reason. Just relax. You've said it about 7 times in the chat. Like,
Let me
just
see your
chill out.
scarf, your split scarf, Espanyol and
Oh,
Tottenham.
no, I would buy a half and half scarf. Yeah, that would be a half and half scarf.
Look, let me just do a quick super chat. Big up to Gerald, my man Gerald in the chat. Gerald has said, "I'm old. You're not old, Gerald. You're experienced, mate. You're not old." He said, "I'm old. I've seen Jimmy Greaves and George Best and all the best players around that time. Big up you three."
Lucky man. Fair play, by the way. Fair
three
play.
young'uns or three nuns?
No,
I don't know. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much, Gerald. Yeah, listen. Yeah. I mean, whenever I've watched footage of George Best, just wow. And Jimmy Greaves as well, obviously. Let's go to another question, shall we? Let's go to another another one of our topics. Let us know if you like the What Are We Doing Here podcast. It's just something slightly different where we don't just have to talk about Tottenham every week.
Not too serious.
We always come back to Tottenham in one way or another. I agree, Phil. This is probably the most sensible thing you've ever said in your 40-odd years of being alive. I hate half and half scarves. They should be banned, as should your football opinions. Big up to you. Andy Booth was, of course, a legend. Yeah, it was Frank Rijkaard. Yeah, it was Frank Rijkaard who spat on Volley. Yeah, that's what Perchy said. Yeah. Let's have a look at the. Let's go to another one, shall we? Let's go with this. Who wants to spice up a little bit of Monday evening?
I'll let Eugene go first.
The Ange defense is ridiculous. Now,
I'll let Eugene go first.
Perchy, can you just explain? You asked me to put this as a topic before Eugene goes. Can you just ask me to explain what you mean by that for people in the chat?
What this means is the amount of people that even to this day defend this manager. To this day, not about his defending. By the way, his defending is dog shit. I'm talking about actually defending this manager after everything we are seeing at Nottingham Forest. Eugene, you can start because I am going on an absolute rant in a minute.
I could be considered as an Ange defender, but I don't defend Ange.
You are the poster boy.
Hey, I'm not defending Ange. I am arguing with people who have some crazy opinions about him. So look, as far as Ange goes, did I want Ange to stay? No, right? I supported him. Then I said Ange is not for me at the end. I'm happy he's gone. However, people who disregard him helping us or him winning a cup for us, first European Cup in 40 years, I don't agree with that. It doesn't matter how, like, people always say, oh, we had this easy run, we had this, and that. All that's irrelevant, right? Forget all the excuses. The fact is,
can I ask who's disregarding it? Can I just ask?
No, Savva, just let him. Trust me.
Okay,
it's fine. Just shoot away.
He won us a trophy. For me, regardless of how poor of a manager he actually is, and I'm not saying he's a good manager. However, a trophy is a trophy, and for that, I'll be grateful. So when I see people mock him, it just doesn't sit well with me. Because again, not a great manager. However, he won us a trophy, something that top managers could not do. In 5 years, nobody's gonna remember 17th place right now. Savva, when you go on these YouTube shows with the rivals, nobody banters you about being 17th. A trophy is a trophy, and it's a big trophy. It's not a league cup, right? A league cup is whatever. It's a European trophy. It's Champions League. So yes, is he a bad manager? Yes. Do I want him on Spurs? No. Am I happy that he's gone? Yes. However, winning a trophy is something that nobody else in a long time could do with this team.
I have a question.
And for that, I'm grateful.
I have a question. Can I ask then, why doesn't anybody ever talk about George Graham or One Day Ramos?
Did they win a European trophy?
They won a trophy at Spurs.
A European trophy. Not a League Cup.
But they won trophies that were harder to win than last year's Europa League. So,
yeah. But if you look at the prestige of the trophies, the Europa Cup and League Cup are not comparable.
Hang on, forget about the prestige of the trophy.
Whoa. When you're saying the prestige of the trophy, sure, but didn't One Day Ramos have to beat better teams to win the League Cup than Ange had to beat?
Of course.
To win the Europa League.
Of course. A League Cup competition is tougher than the Europa competition, even right now. Because you have to beat
so you've just completely destroyed your whole point then.
No. But the prestige of the Europa League is still it's way higher. No. Champions League.
Historically, yes. Last season it wasn't.
Right. It's always European Cup is a European Cup.
Sure.
Sure.
No one's disagreeing.
Look, for me, 17th and the League Cup would be diabolical. 17th and the Europa League that gets us into Champions League, I can suffer that for one season.
Yeah.
If that gets the money for back.
No one's denied that. But no one's denied that. So this has all come down to Ange, right? And I assume the point I made on this is about fans that want to absolutely laugh at this manager after everything he put us through for the last 2 years. I'm not scared, and I don't care if people hate me for it. I watch Nottingham Forest games laughing my head off. I think it's funny.
But it's because of whufc. And because
hang on. I feel sorry for whufc. I don't feel sorry for his sub count, because his sub count is going through the roof. So credit to him, because I think whufc's a really lovely bloke. Got a lot of time for him. I feel sorry for him having to deal with it. He went on the oh no, it's gonna be different. Everyone said it wasn't, when Savva and George was saying to him, trust me, it doesn't get better. And for me, hang on, let me just and for me, made me hate Tottenham Hotspur. For the first time as a Spurs fan, made me hate watching us play. Do you know how many games Ange Postecoglou has won in the league this year, this calendar year? Can anyone in the chat get the answer?
1 or 2 or 3, 4?
4. And guess how many of those teams are in the Premier League right now?
2.
Right? Man United and I think it was Brentford, thank you. He 2 of those got relegated, the teams he beat, Southampton and Ipswich.
Right? For me, it's not about, everybody knows he's not a good coach. Where I get defensive is when people make up narratives like, oh, any other year would be relegated, or
we would have done. Literally, that's not a narrative. Statistically, we would have got relegated. Yes.
He rested players for a month and a half. Romero and Van der Ven were
calling bullshit. No, we didn't. This is a narrative used after the event
with Archie Gray and Bissouma playing centre back for us.
Yeah. Okay, for the semi-finals, I can understand that. For the semi-finals, fair enough. He wasn't doing that before.
Yeah, he was resting Romero and Van der Ven. He was also, when people say he had to change his whole philosophy to beat Man United in the final, he beat Man United 3 times before that. So it's not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
about the
look,
philosophy.
Hang on.
He didn't have the players.
Not how we did in the final.
Well, yeah,
No,
but why is that? We were missing our top 3 midfielders. Nobody could pass the
no.
ball, so
He
we had
had
no
to.
choice.
He had to put 11 men behind the ball against
Yeah.
one of the worst Man United teams I've ever
But
experienced.
why? Why didn't he do it the 3 times before when we beat him?
Why?
Because we didn't have the players. With our 3 best CMs were missing. Nobody could pass the ball.
So
We had no
what?
choice.
So we basically look. By the way, thank you for winning. I'll always say this. Thank you for winning us. I
That's what
can't
I'm saying.
stand this. I can't. Do you know what more annoys me? Right, and I don't care what people don't like me for it. I'll say it. I found this guy the biggest gaslighter in our gaslit our fan base through the roof. People don't like to hear it, but he did. He said so much shit. And the one thing that everyone lives off, we win to this second season. What about the 100 other pieces of shit this manager said that hasn't come true? I found him a hypocrite in every aspect.
Can I just say that this whole thing that we rested all these players, I've just plucked one game out, right? Everyone remember when we went to Wolves and lost 4-2, right?
Yep.
And Romero played, Basuma played, Sarr played, Maddison played, Kulu played, Solanke played, Johnson played,
yep.
Spence played, Vicario played. Like I feel like there's a lot of revisionism. Look, in his last 48 Premier League games, he's lost 30. Right? No one can tell me that's down to resting players and injuries, because there are other managers that have injuries that don't have that. But look, for me, I think listen, and I tried to be really, when I went on with Wolfie, when they first signed him, I said, this is a big opportunity for Ange. This is what I said, Eugene, right? This is a huge opportunity for Ange to say, right, okay, I've left Spurs. I was sacked for what the board told us was for the number of points in the number of games he got, which was atrocious. That's what they said, right? Not me. They said that, right? Said it wasn't acceptable, the number of games to points. And you're thinking to yourself, right, go in. This is your chance. Go in, learn from your mistakes, learn from the way you play. You've gone into a team that have already got a built-in defensive mentality on how to defend. Yep. Last year, Milenkovic and Murillo were arguably everybody was going, God, I'd have him, right? And then he manages to go in to Nottingham Forest and then in 7 games does that.
It's hilarious. Right? It's funny.
Now listen, whether you like him, whether you don't, this is just completely unacceptable for a team last year that could defend for their lives. And I was watching the game yesterday, and you're thinking to yourself, what are Forest? That's the first thing I thought was, what are they? They're not an attacking team. They're not gung-ho. They're not a defensive team. They're not well organized. They're not hard to beat. They don't shut up shop. I'm watching them go in, what are you? And most managers go into a new club and they have that. They either have a new manager bounce or they go in and go, right, for the first 4 or 5 games, let's be difficult to beat, right? And this is why the Forest fans are already on his back saying, of those 7 games, yeah, you're not going to beat Arsenal. Sure, Arsenal away, you could say Arsenal were the favourites, right? Betis away, sure, draw, good point. You've got Burnley in the league, right? You've got Sunderland in the league, right? You've got Midfield in the cup. You've got Swansea in the cup. And to have not won any of those 7, for me, I think what you're seeing now is that the ability isn't there to go in when it's not one-off games. The ability is not there over the course of time. Now, he might stay, prove me wrong. I don't think he will.
I think that he's getting exposed now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the demise. I think it's brilliant. I don't care what anyone says. He's getting exposed now because he doesn't have the players he had at Tottenham that got him out of jail. So he had better football players at Tottenham than he does at Nottingham Forest. People don't like. It's true, right? Spurs have a better 11 and a better squad than Forest do. Facts.
Not when the injury, but
Yes,
yeah, I mean,
yes, we do. No, we
no,
do.
overall, yeah, when everybody's healthy, for sure, I agree. It's
Yeah,
not even close.
but my point is, in general, right? You would pick more Spurs players than you would Nottingham Forest players to pick an 11, right? But when you have defenders like Milenkovic and Murillo, the one thing you shouldn't be doing is defending on the halfway line. These aren't players. He got lucky last season that we had Mickey van der Ven. He got lucky because Van der Ven can mop up some of those ones. I watch Forest play and I'm going, you're playing two defenders who naturally want to defend the ball, right? Murillo and Milenkovic, for me, are defenders that want to defend, right? They will defend their box and go long. They're proper centre-halves. Now, the amount of images you see of 2v3, 1v3, and you're going, how have you... I'm almost impressed with Ange, how you've turned one of the best defences in the league of last season into one of the worst in the space of a month. Like, it's almost commendable how bad he's been. Commendable.
If you look at those in isolation, let me remove that comment. If you look at those, if you look at the expected goals against, the worst in the league. Clean sheets, the worst. Shots on target face, the second worst. Errors leading to shots, the worst. Conceded from set piece, the second worst. Shot conversion rate, the worst. Like, how can you go into a football club? Now, forget that this is Andrew as at our club. We could have this conversation about Amorim or about anybody, right? How can you go into a new football club and the players either aren't listening to your ideas, don't understand your ideas, or your ideas just don't work? How can that happen, Eugene?
Well, Amorim is in the same boat. He's used to playing a certain way. Like with Ange, he's used to coaching or to managing the best teams in whatever league he was in, and that he just had more talent, and he out-talented the other team. In the Prem, you cannot do that, especially with Spurs or Forest. Amorim, same thing. His system works in Portugal, obviously doesn't work in the Prem. So, and I just want to, like, Mark's comment, like, he says, I'm making excuses. I'm making no excuses. For me, Savva, I remember in your streams 2 years ago or last season, there were debates, and I think whether it was you or somebody else asked who would take 17th and a trophy. And a lot of people said they would. I said, personally, I would. Mm-hmm. Now, again, is Ange a good manager? No. Am I happy he's gone? Yes. However, I would take a trophy. Like, I have lived through Stellini and Mason where I wasn't watching games. It was shocking. Under Nuno with Prime Son and Kane, when we had like one shot on goal. So we had some shocking performances.
Sure.
I would take a trophy and 17th to get the monkey for back. Now we move on.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay, that's fine. I can in isolation, that's fine. But by the way, I completely refute the fact of I would rather watch this under Stellini and Mason than Ange any day of the week.
One shot a game, I couldn't do it.
Ange was the only manager. Is the only manager that would go into a game when you go, let's just say we're playing Wolves, and I go, we're not winning. Like, he was the only manager I expected us to lose every week. Like, we were that bad, like genuinely that bad. Okay. Like, and he made me not watch it. Like, and it got me to the stage where I never got emotional after watching Tottenham. I go, well, watch us. We lose 2-0. Let's get on with the day. But like, for me, the pain was, and I think this is the key bit, right? Ange won us a trophy almost just proves, right, the notion that you don't actually have to be a very good manager to win a trophy, right? And we can kind of move on to this segment, right, if you want to.
But you know why, Perchy? And sorry to steal thunder, but I think the reason is that with Spurs over the last how many years, any manager cannot compete on multiple fronts. They have to make a choice, right? Like, so if you're trying to get top 4 and win a cup, given our depth and the quality of our players, a manager cannot do it. Poch couldn't do it. Poch almost did it. But then you look at Conte
Yeah, but
and Jose,
does that mean
everybody
you
else,
need?
we cannot do it.
Does that mean you need to lose 22
No,
league games in the
I'm not saying that.
meantime?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
feel
it's
like
winning a trophy.
I feel like this is a get out clause. When people say we have to pick and choose, first and foremost, again, people they always want to say, Ange said, I was winning my second season. All right. But when the players were injured, Ange said, watch us fly up the league table when the players are back fit. Right. Then when we didn't, it changes to, we concentrated on the cup. But look, football teams do this year in, year out. Football teams play in multiple competitions year in, year out. Whoever you are, you play in multiple competitions, right? Look, I get it, right? I just think that this time at Forest, for me, isn't a surprise, right? It isn't a surprise. And that's why I'm looking and thinking, all the people that, if people turn around to me, Eugene, and went, he won a trophy, but God, he was a poor manager, I'd go, absolutely. Yeah. So right now,
that's what I say.
Right. I know you did, right? Right now, people go, oh, why don't you like winning trophies? I do. People can't separate these two things, Eugene.
Yep.
Winning a trophy, yes. Wanting to keep the manager that won said trophy, no. Right? No. Now, if you look, same thing happened, right? With One Day Ramos.
Yeah.
Right? He started the next season terribly. Now, there were different circumstances. And then he went. Right? Look at Ten Hag. Ten Hag won a trophy. And everyone said, he's got to stay. He won the FA Cup. That one game kept him his job. What happened? They give him 250 million in a transfer window. Right? They start the season dreadfully. Next thing you know, you're looking for a new manager in October, November. And that new manager hasn't had the 250 million that he could have had. So for me, I just think if people were fair, I'll try and be as fair as I can. We all know I don't rate him one bit. Thank you for winning the trophy. What I say, thank you for winning that. Thank you for getting us Champions League football. But that's still not one bit of me is sorry that he's not on that. Not one bit of me. Not 1% of me feels sorry for him. He made this rod for his own back. Right? When we had injuries, and this is where I'm going to dispute what you're saying, Eugene, right? People always go, injuries. Sure. If you've got injuries, you know what you do? You shut up shop a little bit.
No, for sure.
You make yourself tougher to beat. If you're having to play Archie Gray at centre-half, right? I turn around and say to myself, right, playing Archie Gray at centre-back. He's not a centre-back. Tell you what I'm going to do. First of all, let me drop the defence 10 yards because he's not used to being a defender. I'm not going to put him on the halfway line. Second of all, my fullbacks that I normally play in midfield inverted, I'm going to ask them to sit with him. Be a bit more solid, sit with him, talk him through, help him through the game. My midfield, I'm going to ask one of them, at least two of them, to sit a little bit. And then you think to yourself, if he had done all that with the injuries, you make yourself a bit harder to beat and you go, fair enough. He didn't. He looked at it and went, let's just keep doing the same thing, no matter what the personnel. And then people went, oh, but injuries. Sure, but you've got to adapt.
I agree. I mean, he
adapt,
he
right?
adapted a bit in Europe. He did that, but he disrespected the league. I agree with that. Like in Europe, he changed things up a bit. We weren't as gang ho. We didn't play the high line. I think he inverted one fullback instead of two. So in Europe, he made adjustments against Bodo, against Frankfurt, and against United, of course. In the league, though, he did not. So it's all fair, right? Again, for me, though, again, maybe I'm not thinking rationally, but he gave me my best moment, one moment as a Spurs fan. It was a diabolical season, terrible season, but I've seen bad seasons again under Stellini, Mason. It was a diabolical season, but mentally, I was, again, for one time, I said one season, but he gave me the best moment as a Spurs fan. So for me, again, is he a good manager? No. Do I want him? No. Am I happy he's failing at Forest? On some level, yes. However, that moment will still be with me. So I still give him credit. Whether it was an easy cup to win, whether we got lucky, all that's irrelevant. At the end of the day, there are two things. We finished 17th and we won a trophy. So 5 years from now, that memory, right, of Bilbao is still going to be with me. And
Sure.
I have to give him some credit for that. Everything else, I agree with you. Terrible coach, not for the
Sure.
Prem. But again, for that one moment, that was
I,
my best moment as a Spurs fan. And that's why
and
maybe I'm more sympathetic towards him because I haven't seen that before as a fan.
I completely get that. It wasn't my best moment as a Spurs fan, but I completely get it. Why for a lot of people it was, and this is the thing. Everyone thinks just because I don't rate him that I didn't want to win the cup final. Eugene, I said before, whether I rate him or not, we simply had to win that final for Champions League for revenue because I'll tell you what, we would not have been buying Paulinho, Xavi, Simons, and Kudus if we hadn't have got into Europe. So I think it was really important. But look, when people are saying they like seeing him fail at Forest, for me, it's not liking it. For me, I'm just watching it going, I'm not surprised. There's nothing I'm watching at Forest where I go, oh, I can't believe how bad they are. Because this is what I saw at Tottenham for 2 years, other than that 10-game good start. So, look, will he turn it around? I don't know. I mean, if you look at his next 3 games, he's got Chelsea, he's got Porto, and he's got Bournemouth away. I mean, he's up against it. But last thing I want to talk about before we go, I only want to go for another 10 minutes if you're okay for 10 minutes, Eugene.
Yeah.
You good for 10 minutes? Yeah. Don't know where Perchy is. But I'll ask this. There's a lot of reports out there about Ivan Toney. Right? This is an interesting one, right? Ivan Toney. Now, obviously, last year there was a lot of talk of, oh, let's go and get Toney. And it was, will we get him? And then we ended up with Solanke. But there's a lot of talk that Ivan Toney wants to come back to the Premier League and back to London in January. Thomas Frank was his coach, got the best out of him. Spurs look really powder puff up front. Is this a no-brainer, or what do you make of this one? And in the chat, let us know. And no, there's no Spurs 5 today. I think 2 or 3 couldn't make it, and yeah, we'll have one either on Thursday or wait till next week. So yeah, there isn't a Spurs 5 today. Sorry, no. Eugene, go.
That's
Toney.
interesting. Like when we had this conversation originally before he went to Saudi, I was saying no, because there's a reason why nobody in the Prem, like we're starved for strikers in the Prem and nobody got him for a decent price.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like there has to be something that we don't know about because he's a very good goal scorer. So nobody went for him and all teams need strikers. However, now, given the state of our squad, I don't care if he has red flags or whatever. If Frank wants him, I would take him in a heartbeat. Again, does he have issues? I'm sure he does. However, given the state of our squad, I would take him in a heartbeat. Give me some goals. We're starved for goals. And that's the argument, Savva, that you and I had before when I was commenting on Spurs 5, where I don't see where the goals are going to come from, given the state of our front 3. And any improvement on that, I would take anybody. Mitrovic actually would be my first choice if we could. I would take Mitrovic over Toney all day long. I love Mitrovic.
I mean, I'm just looking for those asking about his form. Ivan Toney, since he's gone to Al Ahly, has played 34 league games and got 26 league goals. So he's scoring goals. I would expect him to. Look, for me, I think the key thing for me here is I don't rate any of the forwards at Tottenham. Mawani, let's put a question mark next to him because obviously we just don't know, right? But I don't rate Tell. I don't rate Richarlison, and Solanke for me is meh, right? Now, what I think Ivan Toney will give you, even if it's by the way, this doesn't have to be a 3-4 year deal. Maybe this is a 6-month loan deal to see us through to the end of the season. I think he'd be able to play in the Champions League if we're still in it, right? Because he's not in European competition at the moment. I just look and I think it would give us a focal point up top. Like, you could play it into Toney and it's not just going to bounce back. You know that he's a big, bustling centre forward. You know he's got that little bit of attitude that you need, that bit of bite. That I'll have a tussle with the defenders. He knows the Premier League, and more importantly, he knows Thomas Frank, and we know that Thomas Frank knows how to manage him. Right? For me, I think that would be a wonderful signing in January, depending on the conditions. I think that would be a wonderful signing.
I wouldn't buy him, but on loan, as you said, it's a no-brainer. Again, like people forget how good he was, not even scoring goals, but he can pass, he can he can do everything as a center forward. If he wouldn't have attitude issues or whatever, his gambling issues, he would be £100 million striker. He has all the ability and all the skills to be a top striker. So on loan, it's a no-brainer. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. It's very interesting. I'm of the opinion that this club, I don't think we will go anywhere long term until you get a top striker. You can muddle through games. You can have the game where that winger scores, that midfielder scores. I think at some point you've got to settle on a number 9 that is your focal point and that you know what you're going to get.
Do you think our number 9 is more of an issue than left wing? Because I don't know. I think left wing is a bigger
massive issues. Eugene, I put them on par of each other.
Yeah.
I also think not having a ball playing number 8 is a huge issue.
Can I go on the rant for 2 minutes or
Knock
1 minute?
So what are we doing here podcast? Go for it.
So my biggest issue with Thomas Frank playing Palhinha and Bentancur together, and us giving Bentancur a new, I don't know what it is, a long-term deal, whatever that means. I think that just tells us the mentality of this club. Shocking. We have Sar and Bergvall as squad players, right? As squad players, they can come in and do a job. We need a top number 8. Not only like what Bentancur does, he slows everything down. Sideways passing, backwards passing. He's not good enough for us. So giving him a new deal for me is crazy. We need a top 8 who can actually control the game, control the tempo, and push the ball up. Especially with our lack of attacking talent, we need an 8 who can help us out in that area. Bentancur, he's just, I don't know what happened to him, but playing him and Palhinha against Leeds or Wolves, terrible decision by Frank. Signing him to a long-term deal, I don't know what we're doing. Like, it's shocking for me.
But now flip this, right? Now flip this, okay? Signing Rodrigo Bentancur to a contract. Think about what it does.
It's a resale value, I hope.
It's resale value, right?
But what's he worth? 15 million, 20 million? I mean...
Yeah, but when you go 15 million, 20 million, 15 million, 20 million versus 0 is a lot of money.
I hope so. If that's the case, I hope so. But again, I cannot watch him and Palhinha together play against Leeds or Wolves and just pass the ball back and forth.
Sure, but you know the difficulty that they've got is the other 2 you mentioned, Bergvall and Sar, aren't passers of the football either, right? So what you've got there is both of those 2 are box to box. So when we want to be more disciplined, Sar and Bergvall don't do that job. But by the way, listen, I want better. I agree with you. I've said all summer a number 8, right? I want whatever names. I want a Wharton. I want this type of player, someone who gets on the ball and passes forward and drives
and pushes it. Yeah.
But I've said this before. I look at Wharton. I look at Bentancur, Basuma, Sar, Bergvall, Gray, and I'll be honest, I don't look at any of them and go, cool, you've got to start. I know people lose their mind about Bergvall. I think he's decent, but Bergvall for me doesn't sit in the 2 and keep the game ticking over. Problem is, and this is what I know Bergvall, the other day against Leeds, you knew we were in for a tough game because they had 3 big, strong centre mids, Ampadu, Stack, and Longstaff. All hardworking, real honest pros, bustling, you know, they want to get stuck in. With that, you cannot leave Paulinho to face all three. And what happens is, we saw it against Bodo Glimt, you saw it against Wolves. What Bergvall does is when he gets it, he drives forward every time with it.
He's a runner. He's not a passer.
Right,
He's a
runner.
Right?
But the problem is, when he loses it, you've now got Paulinho on his own, and it's like, shit, right? Now, I get it. He puts Bentancur there because Bentancur, whilst not flashy, by the way, I've never gone overboard. You know me, Eugene. I've never gone overboard about Bentancur. I think he's a good footballer who does the safe thing, but for me is a bit lackadaisical. But when you put Bentancur and Berg and Paulinho together, what it does do, it stops us being run through in midfield. Now, if you watch the Bodo Glimt game, right? The Bodo Glimt game, we were run through in midfield for fun because we kept driving with the ball, kept losing it, and then you've got one midfielder they've got to bypass. So I think for certain games, I get it. Other games, I don't. But I still think that of all the number 8s we've bought, I don't look at any of them and go, wow. And that's a huge problem for me.
Exactly. And as I said, I agree with you. It's just against low blocks or lower teams. He does, at least like Sar, he takes a shot from the outside. Bergvall is a runner. We know what they're good at. But like Bentancur, again, if we gave him a new deal to sell him in a year, I'll be happy. Because again, he's a squad option for me. He's a squad option, but we have enough squad. Like Bergvall is not ready yet, but I think he has potential. I want to see him develop those minutes. I want to see him get minutes against Wolves, Leeds, and so forth. But I agree, we need a top 8.
I think we
need a left winger. I honestly think
midfielder, right?
Yeah.
We need a ball playing midfielder that gets on the ball, keeps the game ticking over, and we
need a conductor. We don't have a conductor. We don't have anybody who controls games.
Exactly.
And that's why the games are hectic, like back and forth. Simmons is not it. He's a creator. He's not somebody who's going to control a game. We need a conductor who's going to be like, you know what, the game is a little bit like, back and forth. Let me take it over. We don't have any player who can do that.
No, I completely agree. Listen, I've said the 3 positions that for me that are priority is a striker, a left winger, and then a number 8. But I think we can muddle through without the number 8 at the moment. But because of that, what we won't see is what fans want to see, which is really slick passing through the midfield. We're not that team. You had a Carrick in there, right? See, possibly, Maddison could possibly do that from deep. Possibly, because Maddison is somebody who passes it over. But for me, I think what we need to do at Spurs, I want to stop getting to the position where we shoehorn people in.
I agree. Exactly.
I don't want to say, like for years we had, could Romero be a 6? Could Porro be a right wing? No, tell you what, why don't you buy what you need? Buy a number 8. Buy a ball-playing number 8, gets on the ball, keeps it ticking over. Even Gomez at Wolves. Very good little footballer, always on the ball. You watch Wolves play, Gomez conducts everything. And we don't have that. We do not have a conductor anywhere in this squad.
And that's why, like, giving up, I think we had less possession that Leeds. We got overrun by Bodo. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's Frank's tactics that he's telling Bentancur to play it safe, or whether it's just him not looking forward and trying to make that pass. Like the only player on our team that is looking for the long ball is Romero. That's it. Like nobody else is taking any risks, like is making any like passes of that caliber. And that drives me crazy.
Well, but who in the squad, right, other than Kudus and Simmons at the top end of the pitch, who in the squad from midfield and the back, other than Romero, has the ability to make those passes?
No,
and this is the thing for me. Some footballers have X skill set. Some footballers have Y skill set. Some footballers have all of the skill set. So if you look at Rodri can do it all, right? Rodri's just a brilliant all-round. He's a Ballon d'Or winner, right? Modric, they just do it all. when I look at Paulinho, Paulinho's absolutely brilliant at winning it and giving it, winning it and giving it. Bergvall and Sarr are runners. They're runners with a ball. They back and forth and they're breaking up the right. There's not, as we said, there's not that one, the conduit in between those two things that goes, I'm not the runner. I'm not the guy that does all the tackling, but I'm the guy that when you give it to me, I'm always in space and I'll just keep the ball ticking over, right? And again, this is why when I get idiots like this in my chat, I can see what he's saying, all his comments, right? When you say that's what the coaches are for, coaches can't just make midfielders conductors. You can't just turn a player into a deep-lying playmaker. That's not how football works, right? You can't just suddenly go, that's like saying, I want James Maddison to be a DM. You can't, go on, you're a coach. Coach James Maddison to be our defensive midfielder. That's not how it works.
Let me ask you a question, Savva. Even though that player, I want him sold, but do you think Kulusevski has the skill set to be an 8? Because he's strong enough, and I feel like, because honestly, he's not a winger. He doesn't fit on the wing. He's not a 10. He's not that passer. Either we have to sell him, or 8 might be his position in my mind.
I'll tell you what the thing is with Kulu. He's another one. Kulu for me is another one who wants to drive with the ball. So there are. So the way I look at it is like this. If I look at players like Michael Carrick, who for me was such a good player. If I look at players like Michael Carrick, like Modric, what these guys had was that ability they move the ball quickly. They're always in space and they know where their next pass is. They know,
you're right. Yeah.
Right? They've scanned the pitch. I've got a bloke there. I've got a bloke there. I can hit the ball. They know straight away. Boom, 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 gone. Right?
Yeah, Kulu's like Bergvall. No, you're right.
Kulu wants to hold on to the ball, and he's more of a, not in a bad way, but he's a diverer. So my criticism of Kulu is sometimes I'm like, give the ball earlier, give the ball, and he doesn't. So I think Kulu will be very good in home games where we've got a lot of the ball. In away games, is he that conductor?
No, you're right. Sure. Now that you mentioned it, we need somebody, for the quick passing. Like if you look at Liverpool, McAllister or Gravenberch, I mean, we need that type. Yeah. So but it's going to be interesting in January.
Can we just say, I'm sorry, right? They ain't coached. They look lost. I mean, we're sitting third in the table, 2 points off the top, and we've lost 1 game in 11 in all competitions. They don't look that lost, do they? Toney, I'm going to ask you nicely. Like every time you come into my chat, it's the same things to dig at Frank. Like if you support Spurs. Like everything. Look. It's just hoofing the ball upfield, expecting players to keep the ball when they are pressed.
Valverde, Queen, yeah, for sure. Valverde would be.
Well, we're not sitting somewhere close last season. No, last season in the first 12 games of the Premier League, we'd lost 5 of them, mate. So no. Look. At the end of the day, I think we're both saying the same thing of what we want with an 8, right? I agree with you on Bentancur. I get why they've given him a contract. Also, I think you've got to remember is we've got quite a young set of midfielders. Gray, Bergvall, Sarr, young midfielders. I think when you look at Paulinho, Paulinho's on loan, right? But when you look at Bentancur, he's the only senior midfielder at the club. So if you were going to let him run his contract down, next year you've then got to buy with money that you've not made from selling Paulinho, you've now got to buy a new senior midfielder plus Paulinho. Listen, I get it. I get it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I get it. It's frustrating. I
just want to see a plan, Savva, right? For me, like we're not going to win the league, so I understand, but I want to see a plan from the club about, okay, this is the direction we're going. This is how we're going to improve, right? And things like that, it doesn't give me confidence that there is a long-term plan in place. I hope I'm wrong. I hope something changed, but I have my doubts.
Doesn't this come from years and years of bad transfer windows?
Of course.
Right? Like, this is the problem. I think if Spurs had loads and loads of good central midfielders, I think right now we'd be going, yeah, okay, but Bentancur can go. But let's be fair. What we'd all be doing as well is going, I can't believe we've let this guy run his contract and go on a free. Because football fans are constantly saying, spend, 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 right? To spend money, you've got to make money. I'm not an accountant, but that's bloody obvious, right? You have to make money as a football club. So listen, I'm happy for Bentancur to be part of our midfield squad. As I've said, other than Paulinho, all the others for me are a bit of a muchness. I don't really look at any of them and go, hey, you stand out. Bergvall, Saab, Bentancur, Gray, none of them for me I go over the top about. Not saying they can't be great in a few years, some of them. But right now, I think we're on the same page that we need a conductor. We need someone who makes the orchestra sing, right? That's what we need. We really do. I think that's fair.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so it is what it is. And yeah, Ellie, I hope we sign him. I think the thing is as well, if we sign Paulinho, I think you've then got to go and buy another young number 6 to learn from him.
Yeah, we're signing Paulinho. There's no way we're not going to.
Man, he's so impressive. I've been hoping he stays fit. He's
player,
been our best player, I think, for me this season. He's been.
I think him or Kudos. I think is it. Either way, I'm not arguing either.
Yeah,
I think Kudos has been outstanding as well.
Oh, and yeah, for sure, I agree.
Yeah, I think. Listen, we've got to understand a new manager coming in. Everything's not going to change overnight. He's not. Last year, I thought we looked awful at the back. I thought we were awful in midfield, and I thought we looked awful up top. You know, and I think there's a lot of fans that suddenly believe that a new manager is going to come in and address all of those issues in one window. Now, I don't think he will, and especially when he's not given the tools to do so. The fact that we are starting games with Tell and Odegaard in that starting 11, and we are in the top 3, I think that makes when people like that Toney guy having a go at Frank. I mean, he's top 3 in the league right now. And we've got players like Odegaard and Tell in the 11. None of the teams around us are putting people like Odegaard and Tell in their teams. None of them.
But Savva, that's also a question.
Yeah,
that's a question about Frank, right? When Frank came out and said, something about like if he doesn't get his like first choice or the player that's perfect for his system, he doesn't want him. And we did have money, right? We wanted to get Sabia for 70 million. I'm really surprised that there was no plan B, that given the money was there, we didn't go out and get Lookman type or somebody else, right? And we talked about it. Yeah, so that's the question is it on the recruiting team or is it on Frank? Because again, the money was there. So it's not that we had no money. So the question is, why didn't we sign a left winger?
Ask yourself this. So I've been asked this question loads. Do we truly believe as a fan base that Thomas Frank, who's a very smart man, let's be fair, he's very intelligent, he's very astute. Do we truly think he turned around to the Spurs board and went, if I'm not having Savio, I want no one? I fail to believe in a million years that Thomas Frank would go, it's that guy or I'm happy with what I've got. I just don't believe it, mate, at all.
But then why? Because the money was there, right? It's not like in the past seasons
we moved for Fofana on the last day of the window.
Yeah, but
right?
that was
Yeah, but mate, listen, we all know how Spurs operate in windows. Look, Thomas Frank knows we need a left-sided player. I think Thomas Frank knows we need a striker.
Yeah, of course. He wouldn't be rotating in the way that he is for those positions, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see in Jan. I mean, if we're a serious club on January 2nd, we're going to have a left winger or a striker come in. I mean, otherwise, if we're going to...
Yeah, I suppose it all depends who's available, right? It all depends who's available, because this is the point. Let's say Thomas Frank turns around to the recruitment team and says, here's my 5 left wingers that I'd like in January. Spurs... Now, by the way, contrary to people's beliefs, Spurs won't wait until January to start speaking to those agents. They'll be speaking to those agents right now, going, hey, what's going on? And the agents will be saying, depends where we are in the league, depends on his game time, depends on the World Cup squads, it depends on all these different things. But maybe we get to January and all of those 5 players, the clubs that they've got, go, you are not having him in January. Like you are, you are not having one of our players in January.
Yeah, or unless you pay insane price
Insane
tag,
amounts of money,
right?
Like, keep saying Semenyo. Go and get Semenyo in January.
I would pay 100 mil. If we had 70 million for Savio, Semenyo for 100, I would do it in a heartbeat.
But who's to say Bournemouth go 100 mil? They go, he's got 5 years on his contract. We don't need to sell him. He's not for sale. What happened? This is the thing, is everyone just picks Semenyo's the next one, by the way. By the way, we had all of this with Eze. It was the same thing as there's no other football player apart from Semenyo. By the way, I think he's amazing. But you're right though, and the point was they go with Semenyo and go, okay, how much? Spurs go 80. Nah, not even at the table. At what position, what price tag is on Semenyo that makes Bournemouth go, okay, we'll consider it? What price tag? They look elsewhere and go, Isak's gone for £150 million. Okay, that's our price tag. Go on.
I disagree. I think you get him, I think, for 80, 90, 100. I think you get him.
I don't. I don't.
Well, I think the problem is, I said a problem. I think if Spurs spoke to Semenyo's agent, right, bearing in mind a club who are not in Europe, right, a club whose model is bringing in players and selling them for big money, I think if Spurs went to Semenyo's agent right now and said, he's brilliant, we love him, what we got to do to get him, the agent what's going to turn around and go, look, Bournemouth are going to put up a fight, but I think you're going to need to start the bidding at about 80, 85, right?
Yeah.
I think if Tottenham put that down. Now, the question I've got more than would Bournemouth accept it? Are Tottenham Hotspur going to put down £85 million? Let's just use that number rather than going to the 100. Are we going to put down 85 million? Right? Because I think if Brentford get 85 million offer, the player's head is going to be turned. Right? Let's be brutally honest. People like Angus in the chat can turn around and go, would he want to join Tottenham? Why? Angus, think about this sensibly. Why would he not want to join Tottenham from Bournemouth? Right? Why? Like, and also, that doesn't make any sense.
Why would he not? In the Prem right now, if you look at the top 4, who actually needs like a winger? I mean, because I think those teams are pretty much set. Obviously, he'd get into any team. But if you look about it and how much money he's going to cost, I'm not sure there are a lot of suitors for him, like in Jan.
Yeah, like Arsenal have got Madueke,
yep,
Trossard, Saka, and Martinelli.
Yeah,
right?
They have no room for him.
Yeah, so if you're Semenyo, and all, see again, all of this. Listen, Eze didn't not join Spurs because he's an Arsenal fan. It's because Arsenal bid for him. Now, if the conversation is Spurs and Arsenal both bid for Semenyo, now you've got a discussion point, right? Now, as I always say, there is a food chain. And I'm guessing if Arsenal went in for Semenyo, who's an Arsenal fan, that Semenyo goes to Arsenal. However, if Tottenham were the only club that bid for Semenyo, do we truly believe that Semenyo's going to look? See, football fans banter other football clubs. Yeah. Semenyo's not an idiot. He's going to look at Tottenham as a Champions League football team that are going to offer him 150, 200 grand a week, a massive sign-on fee, right? And he's going to go, yeah, I'm interested in that. And if people truly believe he wouldn't be interested, that's crazy, right? We're talking about a player from Bournemouth. We're not talking about a player from from Barcelona or Real Madrid here.
See, I slightly disagree because I think if I'm Semenyo, is it worth waiting because you might get a bigger scout? Like, it's obviously the gamble, right?
Sure.
The gamble's there is you go, is it worth going in Jan? Or is it worth waiting it out for the summer where maybe one of the big boys do want you? One of the big boys like a Bayern
Are you
Munich.
telling me? Are you telling me we phone his agent and his agent goes, he's got zero interest in Tottenham Hotspur?
Oh no,
Like,
that conversation doesn't happen. Like if Spurs come
Right,
knocking at the
right.
door to his agent, he goes, "Yeah, we're thinking about it. However, it has to be immediate because Bournemouth won't wait until the last day of the window.
Right,
if you
of
want to
course,
get it
of
done, it
course.
has to be early, right? It has
But
to be
Yeah,
early.
we're
that's got to
willing.
be it. That's got to be the conversation now with the
Sure,
agent.
sure.
The conversation
Yeah,
needs to be right. What needs to happen, and then it needs to be first week of the window. I want to see Sky Sports breaking news. Tottenham have bid 75, 80 million pounds. Test the water for Semenyo. Right. When you start doing that, you then get the answer very early on in the window. Bournemouth turn around and go, "We are not set." There's options, right? Bournemouth will turn around and go, "That's not enough. You need to bid this number," or he is not for sale categorically, right? That's the two. They're the two options. This is the number or no. At least then Tottenham have a chance to go, "Sure, you want 100. We're not paying it. Now let's move to whoever's number 2, 3, 4 on the list." And that is what I want to see Spurs doing. Not let's wait until the last week of the window for Savio to tell everyone he's signing a new contract.
Yep.
And then we go, shit, we haven't got a left winger. That's what I want to see.
Look,
And the money is there. We were willing to go as high as 75, 80 for Savio. So going 85 for Semenyo, like for me, and it's as players to me right now, they're not comparable. Semenyo or Savio all day, any day right now. In 2-3 years, Savio could be a world-class player. Right now, Semenyo for us, Kudus and Semenyo on the wings, that would be a must-see, like a must-watch every single game. So
Got to remember
if
as
we're
well,
willing
though,
to go
Eugene,
so high for Savio, no-brainer for me.
both very different players, though, right? We've got both very different footballers.
But they complement each other, I feel like.
No, I'm talking about Semenyo and Savio.
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure. But we need Semenyo,
Savio
we need
is
goal
very
scoring.
much, he is the traditional tricky winger, get the ball, wants to beat a man, wants to roll his foot over it. Semenyo is very much the powerful athlete, direct, gets in the box, scores goals. But imagine you've now got Kudus, Simmons, and Semenyo, right? With Ivan Toney through the middle.
That's a top 3 squad, in my opinion.
Right. Now, when people in the chat go, we should definitely get 4-4, definitely. Now I'm going to go, yeah, I agree with you. Right now, when people go, definitely top 4, I look and I go, not with Tells and Odebers and Bentancurs and Bergvals and so on. No. So, listen, let's see. Because everybody's kind of made their mind up, right, that Tottenham are going to be different this window. And we don't know.
Yeah.
We have no way of knowing. We're all praying we're different, but I don't think we know.
Yeah.
Oh no, of course, no, because Lubo's told me, so it's fine. So I know it's gonna happen. We're gonna buy Semenyo. Look, the key bit right is what you say. You made a good point about the whole bidding thing. By the way, when people need to get up, remember, you can bid right now. If you want Semenyo, go and do it now. You don't have to wait till January. Get it done now.
Hasn't he got 5 years on his contract?
But this is my point, right? So the argument, the ball is all in Bournemouth's court. And when I say that Bournemouth won't want to sell, what Bournemouth don't want to get, Bournemouth can wait till the summer.
Of course.
Is my point. So Bournemouth have they have the golden ticket with the contract, so they can go. Do you know what? His value doesn't drop until the summer. And now in the summer, you have the knock-ins of Bayern Munich will go, yeah, we want some of that, or X, Y, Z, doesn't matter, insert football club. You'll have clubs like the Barcelonas and stuff looking at Semenyo, by the way. I think this is my worry, and I don't want to burst people's bubble. Bournemouth play their cards right. They wait until the summer. But look, but that's the question, right? At what price point is too much? I'll ask you guys as well in the chat. At what price point do you go, okay, we can't be paying over this value for Semenyo? 5 years on his contract, won't be cheap. How far do you go for a Semenyo? How good is Semenyo?
You've got to remember, we've never paid anything like this for a footballer.
Yeah, that's my point.
We've never paid anything. But we're all assuming, and again, big up to my man, Wayne Haaland in the chat. And again, this is what we need to see, Wayne. This is what we need to see. When you say, what makes any of you think Spurs will do more in 5 weeks than they did in 12? Well, look, we don't need to do more in 5 weeks doing 12, but we need to be sensible. The question is, we're all sitting here going, well, Levy's gone now. They're going to change. They've told us they're going to be different. But January is still January. It's still very difficult to get top players out of a club mid-season. Now, there are examples of it. Of course there are throughout the years, but there's not loads. There aren't loads and loads where you go, oh, every January, everyone makes a top signing. So will we? I don't know. But
just guys in the chat, guys in the chat, he doesn't have a release clause, by the way. There is no release clause for Semenyo. So when people go and he's got a 6, it's not. I've just researched it. He does not have a release clause.
He's not going to be 65 million, Robert.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's not going to be 65 million pounds, right?
Speaking of release clauses, Harry Kane, right?
Oh no, we're not doing that. Are we doing that?
I'm
Are we
kidding,
doing
but
this? Are we
that'll
doing
be
this?
easier to get than Semenyo.
Sorry, Harry. So you think in January?
Not January, probably in the summer. Yeah, in January. Yeah, probably.
I'm not yet. Right. Okay. Let's just quickly. By the way, so I'm being told I'm wrong. Cool. Okay. Right. Go on, then. Tell me top players. I want to know top players that have moved in Januaries. As I said, there's examples, but there's not loads and loads and loads. Let me have them. Top players that moved in a January.
Did Van Dijk move in the January?
No, they tried, but I think
he did, didn't he?
I thought he did. I thought he moved in the January. I thought he did. I think that might be the big one that moved in the Jan. Like, I can't think of loads, by the way.
I don't remember.
But no, but that's my point. There's always one or two, but January isn't a market where every Premier League club suddenly starts splashing cash, and it's a World Cup year. It's a World Cup year as well. So this is going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Look, by the way, guys, I'd love Spurs to be that club that just rock up. By the way, we're talking about Semenyo. I don't want to limit it to Semenyo. There are plenty of footballers across the world. We did this in the summer, right? I suggested Semenyo before he signed a new contract. What do you think half my chat did when I suggested Semenyo?
Eze.
Right? Yeah. Don't want Semenyo, want Eze. Don't want Semenyo, right? The revisionism right now, people going, I'd have loved Grealish. Well, yeah, we said it all summer. Like people didn't want Grealish.
I was crying for him.
You know, so what I'm saying is people have got there's a few examples flying around, but there's not loads. Like last year, I think City got Mamouche, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Right? City managed to get Mamouche. Fernando Torres, people are saying, sure. I think Virgil van Dijk did, if I'm not wrong. But there's not.
Aubameyang went to Arsenal in the Jan. I remember that.
Here we go. Let's do this. The best January transfer window signings. Let's have a look. The best, ranking the top 25 of the January window's best transfers. Let's have a look. Let's see who's on this. Attackingfootball.com. I love that. Never been on this site before in my life. Verify that you're a human. Yes, sometimes. Waiting for the website to respond. That's always a bad sign, isn't it? That's always a bad sign. Let me find another site. Here we go. Right. So ranking the best 10 January transfers of the January window. I don't know if this will do. Oh, no, that's all from one window. No, I don't want them all from one window. I'm having a mare here. The greatest 25 January window transfers in Premier League history. So you've got Cody Gakpo moved, right? In 2003, Christophe Dugarry. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go through these. Then I am going to end the show as well. I wanted an early finish today, and we've gone nearly 3 hours. Let me share my screen so we can see these all together, right? So Christophe Dugarry, good player, by the way. Right, Christophe Dugarry, Papa Cisse to Newcastle, 9 million in 2012. Theo Walcott, Southampton to Arsenal, but again, he was what, a 16-year-old kid. And Didi, Adebayor, Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Yes, Dele Alli we got in the Jan, didn't we?
Right.
All kids, Sturridge.
Huh?
All young players, no like superstars.
Right.
Yeah, well, Ivanovic, good player, Ivanovic.
That was a good signing, but again, it wasn't a
Yeah,
you know, this is a 10 million deal. We're not talking about 90 million deal. Bruno Guimaraes.
That's a good.
Bruno, good shout.
That's a good sign. Nemanja Matic, Zeko, Odegaard, Coutinho.
I mean, Odegaard, does Odegaard count? It was a loan. They bought him in the I don't know if that counts, but I'll let it slide.
Aubameyang, Cahill, Trippier, but there's no so far. Let me get there. Yeah, Jermaine Defoe did loads.
Wow, Jermaine
Bruno.
Defoe.
Okay, that's the biggest name so far.
Bruno's Luis Suarez fair.
Right, but you see what I mean? Yeah. If you actually look down that list, there's not loads where you go, oh my gosh, look how many move in January. That, bearing in mind, that's in Premier League history, right? Yeah. So, oh my God, Wayne, don't. I could cry. Our fans, yeah, I could cry. I could cry. Some of the same people who didn't want Grealish are now praising Tell. You can't make this stuff up. And Odegaard, Andy Carroll moved to Liverpool in January, but like when we're talking about these big money, listen, let's see if Spurs do it, right? Let's see if Spurs do it, and this is a good point, especially not a lot of Premier League to Premier League moves, right?
Yeah, it doesn't happen much.
Also, let's take into account one last thing before we go. Doesn't it all depend on what Bournemouth are doing come January the 1st?
Exactly.
Yep.
If Bournemouth are third, right? I don't think they will be. I don't. But if Bournemouth are third or fourth, right, and they're right in that mix in the halfway stage for Champions League and European football, they're going to turn around and be like, yeah, you can have him. It's going to be the summer. Yeah.
I think the key bit, right, and I'll round it completely off. If it's not Semenyo, then who, right? And the club have to really act. Look, they will know, right, very, very quickly if Semenyo is off the tables very quickly. Like the agent will go, yeah, the player's interested, but he's not going to cause a fuss. And Bournemouth aren't going to accept a small amount of money. Like you're gonna have to fight for him. Spurs have to make that call because they can't have what happened in the summer. So they've got to make a call going, do you know what? Is it worth getting somebody on loan? Like a Grealish, obviously it won't be Grealish, but if it's someone that you can get on loan, say you could go and get Fofana on loan with an option to buy or an obligation to buy, do you go, Spurs have to get that real balance right. There's all well and good putting Semenyo at the top of the pile and going for it. But if Bournemouth go, not for sale, not for sale, not for sale, what are we going to do? Sit and wait? We can't have a Sane situation again, right?
The most interesting thing for me is if we'll find out whether our lack of early business in January, was it all on Daniel Levy this whole time? Or is there some bigger issues? So again, if we wait until the very last day of January and get a loan, maybe it wasn't all on Levy. If we get some business done on January 2nd, that's also an indication, okay, maybe it was Levy. So it will be interesting to see how we act and who's in charge.
You know who I would go and get?
Also, couldn't it tell you the opposite, though? If we go and spend big this January window and move early, it might also tell you that it wasn't Levy and that ENIC have changed. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, well, guys, it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I do want to win the show. I do want to win the show. We've been going a long time. Guys, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And Eugene, you're always welcome on the What We Do
Appreciate it,
podcast.
Boys. I had a good time.
Be a consistent guest.
Yeah, you're always welcome, mate. You've got my number. Look, I am going to transfer everyone over. Let's see. Are there any Spurs channels live? I don't think there's a single Spurs channel live. Let's send you over to where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Donna Sam, Football's 12th Man, or Lee Gunner? Let's send you to Football's 12th Man. Let's send you to Potsy. He's on with me tomorrow, by the way. So, guys, don't miss tomorrow at midday. I'm live with Dan Potts. We're going to do a season so far, Arsenal versus Spurs. Great guy, Dan, as well. And then later on that evening, it'll be myself and Lawless, obviously, of West Ham. So that should be fun. Guys, there's no Spurs 5 tonight, if anyone hadn't noticed. Going to send you over to Dan Potts. When you get there, please say Savva Raid. And if Wolfie's on there, just mock him about something to do with Ange. Much love.
Ange outrageous.
Eugene, thank you very much. Big up to David
you,
Crick
boys.
coming in, said, if not Semenyo, Adeyemi, boom, all day.
What player?
All day long, Adeyemi, David, all day long. He is quick and he gets assists. Absolutely. Guys, take care. Much love. And as always, come on.
On your Spurs.
You Spurs.